The footsteps coming up. Next thing we hear is gunshots. Boom, 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 boom. Like, oh shit. So now I grab dude, I throw dude in front of me, and I'm holding him as a shield. While I'm holding him as a shield and I'm doing my thing, he's squirming. His man come on there, so I just know he ain't gonna shoot. So I'm like, stop or I kill him, stop or I kill him. His man ain't trying to hit it. He just start busting. Boom, boom, boom. So when he shoots, he hits my man that I'm holding my hostage on the right side. When he hit him on the right side, his body went limp to the left side, because now he weak. That exposed my right side. Boom. I catch a 45 in the right. You know what I mean? So now he shoots him again. Boom. So now he catch him in the other side, the left side. So now he go limp to the right side. Now I catch a 38 from the other gunman in my left hip, and that joint spun me around more than the 45. The 38. I mean, come on, dog. So now I done spun around. Now he done fired again, hit me in the ass. I got shot in the right leg, left leg, you know, the ass. But I spin around, I get shot up in the chest, and I fall to the ground. But now I bust a couple of times before I go off, and it got real quiet. I didn't hear nothing. I'm just laying there on the roof, my heart beating. Boom, 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 boom. And I wonder what the hell is going on. You know what I mean? Like, yo, is this the end? I look over, I see my man Bob laying there with brain matter laid all over the floor. Oh man, not my man Bob, but I gotta get out of here. So I crawl over to the roof, you know what I mean, to the side of the roof, and I'm ready to jump off, but we 6 stories up. So how the hell I'm gonna jump? Oh my God. Yo, you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, YouTube, Instagram. Follow me, subscribe, all that. Make sure you cop the book of Ruin Harlem at ruinharlem.com. It's at Amazon, iMovie Books, wherever you can find it. It's at Cop This Book. You know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. I got a surprise for you. I wanted to try the little prison stories. I got my big brothers with me. I got Big Gene Deal. You know who Gene Deal is. I got my man Fatman Scoop. You know what I mean? I ran into him the other day over in the Bronx, or at what's that? Salsa con Fuego. You know, my man Boogie Black Ace be doing their thing on Sundays. They be having special guests. But I'm gonna let my man Fatman Scoop come up and tell you about, you know, when we ran into each other. He a big fan of the prison stories, so we want to do a prison story together. And you know, I'm gonna let him interview me about what he's seen over the time with the different programs that I put on with the prison stories. So I'm gonna bring my man Fatman Scoop up real quick. All right.
What's happening, bro? What's good with you, man?
You know what it is. You know what it is. We're in the house, man.
You know, I want to first start by saying that there are people that this is a genre on YouTube that has many, many people in it. And there are only 2 people that I think are like amazing storytellers. And it's you and one other person. And you're actually friends with that person. But, you know, I wound up listening to 1. And then I wound up listening to 2. And then I wound up listening to 4. And, you know, if anybody knows me, I work a lot, you know, so my life is trains, planes, and automobiles. So there are many times that I would be on the road driving from my house to the airport. And, you know, where I live now, sometimes it's an hour and a half, sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's, you know, 2 hours, depending on the traffic. And I would just start listening to these stories, and I would be captivated just in the middle of the night, getting ready to go catch a 6 a.m. flight. And I'm just on a lonely road by myself listening to this, man. And to be able, it's to be able to captivate someone's attention for a minute is hard. So when you can do it for 20, 30, 35 minutes, that's special kind of stuff. When there's something in the business, people, if you don't know anything about it, there's something in the business of television and YouTube and things like that called retention. And retention is how long you stay on and how much people retain the information that you say. So when I can go back and say, yo, the Sereno's this, and what happened to do with the bone crusher, and this happened, and, you know, what happened over here, why you don't ask Ben in jail and penitentiary rich, you know that the content that you're putting out is amazing. So I'm watching I'm absorbing all of this stuff. Of course, I had interviewed Unique during the pandemic. on my Kings of the Street series, and I wound up just watching all these videos. I'm enthralled with it. Now, I'm Fatman Scoop. I'm the man that make you put your hands in the air. Okay, so I'm not in the street. I'm on the sidewalk, and I'm comfortable enough with myself to know I'm on the fucking sidewalk. Okay, and some of these stories, of course, we know everybody who held it down, went to prison. You know, everybody know goons, but just to hear it in a way that's clear, crisp, and concise, and puts you there is amazing, because it's one thing for somebody to tell a story, but it's another whole thing completely for you to feel like you there. So I'm getting ready to go DJ in Salsa con Fuego, again, doing my job. So I had flown in 2 days before. I went to see my family, did all that kind of shit like that. But on the way, I'm driving 2 hours in 2 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight. And, you know, I'm playing all of these videos and stuff. And it's funny because as I'm walking in Salsa con Fuego to DJ, I run into Unique. And I'm like, yo, what's up, bro? He like, what's good? And I said, yo, let me show you something real quick. And I just went to the phone. This ain't the phone I'm using. It's a phone for my lights and shit. But I went to the phone and just said, boom, boom, boom. I said, yo, check this, fam. Boom, 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 boom. It's like 20 or 30 different videos that he had done. And I was like, yo, bro, I love this, and I think you got something. And again, I can't say it enough. There are people who tell stories on YouTube. Again, there's only 2 people that I personally listen to that captivate my attention, and I do this for a living. So to captivate my attention is a motherfucker, because I have zero attention. If it's not hot in the first couple of seconds, I'm gone. Again, to say what I said earlier, you know you can tell a story, or you know you're good at something when someone will listen until the end. And that's what you have. And I just wanted to let everybody know, you know, how good of a job you're doing. And I told you today, and I've called you on, I called you last week, and I said, yo, bro, I'm taking you to the store. Just get your bread ready. I'm going to take you to the store because I need you to get this, I need you to do this, and I need you to do this, because the product is great. And we're going to make the presentation even better. It's good already, but we can all improve. So I can improve. I can fucking improve. Everybody in life can improve and get better. And just like they say in football, we try to get better at what we do every day. And with that being said, bro, I'm going to hand it over to you. That's facts. OG Wall said, "What's good in the vibes in the Bronx?" Okay, yeah. I was in the BX. It was all love. I'm a Harlem cat. I'm a Harlem cat, but I was in the BX at Salsa con Fuego.
All right, I'm gonna bring my man Gino. Big Gene, what up? Tell him who you are, what you do, you know, and our little history.
Hey, what's going on? I'm Big Gene. You see me on the Gene Deal show sometimes. Hey, Fatman Scoop, I hope I'm one of those people you like. I hope
let's keep it funky here. Let's keep it funky. I was just about to say, no, hold on, listen. I was just about to say it. Unique, St. Laz, and yourself. And I'm not saying that because you weren't here.
Right.
I watched The Last Big Night at least 3 times. And then some of those stories that you would be telling would be like an hour and a half. And I would just be like, yo, man, I just got to sit here. There are times that I listen to your shit and just type and do my work on the computer. Like, you never know who's watching, but there's times that I listen. I could talk about all that stuff you talking about. Now, you're the only person that get on my dude like you get all over it, man. But that's you, and that's what you do. And the facts are, no one believes you lie. So there you go.
Well, Like,
hold on, and let's get to the Harlem Slick and the family and all that. We can get to that because remember, at that time, I'm a little bit younger than you guys. At that time, again, I'm not from the street. I'm of the street. So at that time, I was just getting off the porch, getting ready to get on the sidewalk. But I'm from Schaumburg Plaza, so of course I was over there on 12th Street, but I wasn't on that note. I was on a musical note, but I knew all of y'all guys and what y'all were doing and everything, man. Like I was tuned into that.
Right. All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you a little about myself. Me and Fatman.
Hold on, Gene. Come out and come back in. I'm gonna intro you while you come out and come in because your mic is crackling. All right. Your mic is crackling. Just come out and come back in. I'm gonna talk about it for a little bit.
How do I go out?
Just log out of that and log right back in on the same link.
Just log out, log back in.
Right. So you talking to somebody who don't know shit about this. So push what button on this thing?
Just hit the end of everything you're at.
Hit leave.
And then come back in on the same
remove
link.
From stream. Remove from stream.
Yep, just hit leave. Yeah, leave or remove from stream. Yeah. There you go.
Okay. All right, so let me tell you about Gene so y'all know. Like Scoop saying, I ran on every block back then because I was the street. So I'm on every block. I'm on 112 with Slick and the Family, Rambo, you know what I mean? Sad Squatch, you know what I mean? I'm there with everybody. Rest in peace to Big Team, you know what I mean? The whole block is out there, you know? And it's like Gene is a part of the family, if you understand what I'm saying. Gene do what he do. You know, so a lot of people don't know because he was a parole officer, but you know, he was the one trying to stop the people from doing the things that they doing to try and keep us on the right path. But I'm not even gonna front. I wasn't trying to hear none of that. You know what I mean? And you know, Fatman Scoop. You know, when I got locked up, I started hearing his music because I got locked up in '93, and before I got locked up, you know, I was the Fatman Scoop of Harlem. You know, Mecca audio, keep it going all night, y'all. You know, bringing the girls up. You know, I like to get my suck. You know what I mean? And you know, it is what it is, man. So let me try and I'll take Gene off because Gene don't know how to take off. You know, hey Gene, say something. See if your mic in.
Test 1 2.
Gene, you didn't log off. You gotta log off the screen.
All right, now how do I log off the screen?
Please tell Gene how to log off so we don't hold up 10 minutes doing it. Tell me what to tell him.
Just hit leave. Just hit leave, brother.
There it is. It
might just be that might just be his mic, and that might just be it. But like, you know, the thing is that it's so funny because when I was coming up, you were doing what you were doing in the street, right? Now, there were all these dudes that we heard of. Remember, so a little bit about me, so y'all understand about me. I came up in the Dougie Fresh, basically farm system. So it was me, Rob Bass, Biz was around at that time, and there was something called Mike and Dave. There was something called Mike and Dave, and you know Mike and Dave promoters, and they used to bring Kane, Biz, KRS, all the people, but myself and Rob Bass were like the little Dougie Freshes, and we were developing our skills at that time, right? And I was young, so I was from Schaumburg Plaza, and I hung out in St. Nick because that's where my DJs and all them dudes were from. But that was my experience. Going uptown on 7th Avenue, going to St. Nick, Harlem, Schaumburg, and I used to hang on the east side. You guys were older than us, and I knew Mecca audio, but I had never been to the club. I had never done anything. It was like a not a myth, but it was like it was just like a story tale, like, yo, Unique and Mecca audio and the mixtapes and all that stuff. And that was part of Harlem, you know, so they can never take you out of that. Like, of course you did your street thing, but musically, like, listen, is one of the, and I make hooks. I make hooks for a living. That's one of the most effective hooks ever. Nobody can take that from you, period. And I'm just talking from a musical sense, brother.
Okay, I just want to say, let's put our prayers out to the people in Florida. The hurricane get ready to hit. My people in Jamaica called me. They said it blew past them. So, you know, that prayer worked. Now we need to say a prayer for the people in Harlem, those y'all, I mean, in Miami, you know, in Florida in general, you know what I mean? You know, Puerto Rico, you know, that's in the area of the eye of the storm, you know? But Big Gene is up here now. I just want y'all to know that you can't get more official than Big Gene, yo. I mean, back in the day, you know, I carried 2 pistols on my hip, but that was illegal. You know what I mean? To see him with the big 357 Magnum, I had to let him know, all right, you got the Magnum legal, but I got 2 joints and I'm going to use my joints quicker. You know what I mean? Because you thinking of the consequences and I'm just thinking of survival. I don't mind going to jail after I bust my gun. You trying to not to go to jail for busting your gun. So your mind frame was different. You know what I mean? But you always been family. All when we in the Bronx with Freaky Friday, the whole 9. For those of y'all don't know, like y'all see, I'm the voice of the streets for the 80s and 90s because I was one of the kings on the street 80s and 90s. Big shout out to Kevin Childs, AZ, you know what I mean? Peter Shue, Gangsta Lou, you know, Homicide. You know what I mean? We had all men out there, Papoose, Doo-Wop, you know what I mean? We had a lot of kings out there. So that's why I let them know, being that I came home before a lot of them, that it's a whole lot of uniques out there. They say I was the cockiest kingpin. Now Harlem was cocky because we was getting money. We knew we was the shit and we gonna continue to be the shit. And whoever don't like it, screw you. That's the way we look at it. You know what I mean? Just telling you what a Harlem mentality is, but it ain't no disrespect. Because like I said, Kevin Childs go get the red BMW and cut the top off and send out to California for another 30, 40,000, maybe even 50. It depends where he went. That's just to take the top off when the car only costs 40. You know what I mean? And you're paying 40 to take the top off it. And then you got to pay another 20 for the rims. You know what I mean? And then you got to pay another 20 to Dapper Dan to do the interior. And then you got to pay another 20 to, you know what I mean? Big shout out to Jimmy over at, Mobile Innovation up on Concourse and 138th Street. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know that. I'm saying things that they don't know. But, you know, Gene, I want to thank you for holding it down while I've been gone. When I was locked up, anytime I called Gene Scoop, he was there. Anytime I caught this man, he was there. You know what I mean? And for that, whatever I got, he got. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to bring him up here so y'all know, you know, you seen his program, you know where he went. As far as when I got word what was going on was big, I made sure I reached out to the man that I knew had the power to get it to the ears it needed to get to try and save the youngin's life. And that's why I reached out to Big Gene.
Wow.
What happened after that, I don't know. I just did my part as a man trying to save the brother, because we all from the boroughs. I don't care, he from Brooklyn. Big was a homie. We used to go through Myrtle Ave, see him out there, little fat kid on the mic. I mean, come on, man. I mean, then when I got locked up and to see Big, you know, blowing up like he was blowing up with something else, I ran with Tupac. You understand what I'm saying? I ran with Tupac back in the days, and I was with Big back in the day. So I know these brothers when they was kids. You know what I mean? Because I was a king at the time. You understand what I'm saying? So I know them as kids, and they was good kids, man, that was, you know, just trying to make a way for themselves, like we was trying to make a way to feel our way in the dark. You know what I mean? Now, this is a prison story. I said a lot of things that Brother Scoop, when he saw me in the club in the Bronx, you know, he was hitting me with so much. I said, we just going to do it live, and I'm going to just answer your questions because you got so much questions. So I'm sure Gene going to have some questions he want to answer too. But like I said, Gene been there with me when I was down. So whatever I do, I always want him a part of it because that's my brother. You know what I mean? That's my brother. You know?
You know.
Let me say this one time. First and foremost is that I never integrated my life and what I did with the streets. Like when you meet them, you're gonna know the hustlers. If you out in Harlem, you a ball player, you a regular student, you go to work every day, you know who's hustling. You know who's doing what they doing. But I never tried to live my life like they live their life. You understand? When you may see me in my BMW, you may see me in my truck, you may see me with the jury. You know, I was working 3 jobs. You understand? You know,
you're Jamaican?
Huh?
You ain't Jamaican?
That's what they used to tell me. Yo, you must be Jamaican. No, I was just faking it in that way. But I was saying to myself that, you know, and Fatman Scoop and other guys knew that the girls that was fly, nice looking, was was out there, they look for the guys who had it. You understand? So I might give it an appearance that I had it like that, but I wasn't doing that. When they got to know me, they knew that I was a regular dude going to work, and I may have been a part of a crew. You know what I'm saying? I started the same game with D-Ferg, Mike Cop, Rick Dog, Tone Wop, and Tab, but I moved on to Slick and the Family. You understand? Because I couldn't get the money that I was getting. You know, I was setting up all the parties and everything like that. Then when I went to the Slick and the Family and started that with Slick, it started booming up. But I knew what people did for a living. And the guys who didn't want to be in that type of thing, that was tired of going inside a prison, was tired of going, having their family miss them, I was writing resumes. I was putting them on jobs because I had construction jobs. I had inside of a lot of different things that I could help guys change their life. And that's what I was about, helping somebody do something different. You understand? I wasn't about, even as a parole officer, I was taught by the old heads, listen to me, you do a good job when you help a guy stay out of jail. You understand? So that's what I was trying to do, help brothers stay out of jail. Now, was I part of a couple of crews that guys were doing things to get in jail? That's what they were doing. They was from the block. I can't stop a grown man from doing what he want to do. But anytime they don't want to do it, anytime they want to change their life, anytime, like Unique said before, that I put something in their ear to try to change their life or do something, either you're going to hear it or you're not. You understand? Like your grandmother used to say, they let it go in one ear and come out the other. You understand? So my whole thing about it is that, I never tried to portray that gangster life. But if you thought I was worried about my job, if I had to pull that trigger or something, nigga, I'm born and raised in St. Louis. I ain't never thinking about no job. And now, what people don't understand, who people out there who got those guns and thinking because they got guns and stuff, nigga, listen to me. Excuse me, for like brothers and sisters, listen to me. I'm legally to carry. If you show me a gun, I could take your life. Because I know how to articulate. You get it? I know how to articulate that I was in fear of my life. You understand? You don't suppose to have that weapon. So if any time somebody ever thought that I was scared to pull that trigger or I wasn't going to do that in certain situations, you are mistaken and you are a fool. All right. So now, let me tell you about me and Unique. Unique asked me to work at Club 2000. I would never, ever work at Club 2000. Only time I worked at Club 2000, it was doing that Onyx thing when I bodyguarded them for Jam Master Jay and Tracy Weapon. Unique guys only listen to Unique. You understand? So there's no way I could be a part of security and run security when they only listen to Unique, because Unique had the paper, he was paying them like that. Now, if Unique told them to listen to me, you understand, I would have to be a part of the crew. And I wasn't doing that. You understand? I had my own crew. I was good where I was at. Unique it was a situation. And this is how that AAO came about, right? Unique patented that and finalized that. I didn't know he had did it. Jay Black, God bless the dead, asked us to come uptown with him and Grim them. Because Unique used to have street battles, and if you made it on the street, you was able to come to Club 2000 and perform. Am I right, Unique?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now, it was this rapper named Grim. Nice.
Hold on, I want to say something. So Grim, this is crazy because it's always 6 degrees of separation. At the time, and I can say this and you can verify it. I've said it a million times. Nobody ever disagreed with it. I used to be a rapper, and I was signed to Teddy Riley, right? Because I was hang out with St. Nick, whatever. I was one of the rap dudes in there. Once Teddy Riley broke up with Gene Griffin, I went to Puff. DJ Chill Will, my mentor, took us to Puff. Puff said, yo, here's what I want you to do. I want you to keep rapping hard for the streets, nigga. I love you. Keep rapping hard for the streets. Then we're going to put a suit and tie on you and we're going to make you for the women. That's big. So he had that idea first. He had that idea a long time ago. He was looking for that guy that was, I guess, like a cross between Heavy D and something more gangster. He found it with Big. Originally, I was supposed to be the first one. I realized that I was a comedian and not a tough guy. And I understood if I had to bring the goons around, eventually I was gonna have to deal with the goons. But anyway, that's another story. I leave, I stopped doing that. I wind up meeting a rapper through one of my people, MF Grimm. And which is Grimm, and I wound up doing songs with him. And at the time, he was trying to get out the street. So he was heavy in the street. His right-hand man was a dude named Jay Black. And he was trying to get out the street. And I was actually mentoring him, like working on him with his style and stuff. What happened? He turned out to be nice. And I never knew, because I think Jay Black was kind of like, I guess Jay Black to an extent was kind of funding him at one point, right? Would you say that, Gene?
Yeah, Jay Black was the entrepreneur behind him.
Yeah, he was backing him. And I'll never forget, man, the day that Grimm called me and he was like, yo, man, Jay just got killed. Jay Black just got killed. I was like, what? Oh, shit. And I remember him, he was getting everything together because he had one hand in the street and he had one hand on the mic, and he was really, really good. And I was telling him, please, man, get the fuck out the street. Do this. You'll win.
He was on his way. The day he got shot up with Jay Black, when Jay Black got murdered, they were on their way, was getting haircuts, on their way to Atlantic to sign the contract.
It's crazy.
All right. So now, check it out. We were out there and we were told that we said Jay asked us to come up there because Unique paid niggas $5,000 whoever won the battle. Whoever won the battle, he would pay them $5,000.
Right.
So I think Grimm was going against one of Unique people.
Yeah.
You understand? He was going against one of Unique people. So Grimm started saying, Grimm started rapping. He did his rap thing. He was killing. And then he said, so what you want, nigga? So what you want?
What, nigga? So what you want, nigga? What you want, yeah?
He said, hey, ho! All right. Yo.
So look. So
he took the $5,000 and threw it up in the air. He still paid Grimm the money, but he threw the $5,000 in the air. And the niggas just went crazy up there. I was like, oh shit. I thought Grimm had made up the AAO, but that was Unique them saying. You understand? But when he said, so what you want, nigga? What you want, nigga, was a big thing back in the day too. And Unique was killing that at Mecca, up at Club 2000. When Unique get on the mic and be like, so what you want, nigga? So what you want? The whole people in the whole joint be like, so what you want, nigga? So what you want? That shit was crazy up in there.
All right, so let me break that down so you understand and break down what Gene is saying. Up in the club, we used to have the bandanas that said, so what you want, nigga? The AOI, I like to get my D sucked, you know what I mean? And all of that. So what Grimm did was similar to what Eminem did when he was playing Rabbit in the movie and he came in and they told him, yo, they're going to talk about you being from the trailer park, this and that. So what Grimm did was took all of our raps together and threw it at my man because he knew that he was going to come back and make a rap with So What You Want, nigga, and AOI in it. So he came and used our joint back up against us. You know what I mean? And that was the first time Gene heard it. So that's why he went crazy. But we went crazy because he used our joint against us. And I'm going to tell you who was battling. It was my brother, Papa Sean. That was, you know, him and DL was our two best rappers. And my man, rest in peace, Jay in DC. So he was battling them. But when he hit him with the joint we used, I mean, he shut it down. Like he said, man, I just threw the money in the air like, man, it's a rap. You know what I mean?
He threw $5,000 in the air, and the crowd just grabbing it and everything. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Wow.
And I still paid him his 5.
man.
And I still pay Grim his 5.
And still pay Grim his 5.
So here's the thing. Grim comes back at that time, and he comes back and he puts this song together, and he says, "Yo, I want you to hear this shit." And I'm like, "What is it?" Because at this time I'm not even going uptown. Like I'm only keeping on 8th Avenue up to 50th Street, and I'm staying I'm in from 8th Avenue, St. Nick, Schaumburg, and East Side. I'm not even going that far up. And he came back. He said, "I got this song. I want you to hear it." He said, "This is gonna kill." Mark my words. So what you want, nigga? So what you want, nigga? So what you want, nigga? So what you want? I got up out the chair. I said, "Oh my God, what the fuck?" I'm sorry, excuse me. I was like, "What is this?" You know what? It made me feel like the first time I had ever heard Onyx.
Mm-hmm.
When he did "So What You Want, Nigga? So What You Want, Nigga?" When he did that, I was like, holy, I couldn't even, I just said I turned to my man, Sean C. Sean C. was working with him as well. He was. So we go back a little bit further, because we're tying all this into music and the streets and everything. He was Rock Raider's MC. Rock Raider was from Foster Projects. At that time, we called him Bill. We called him Bill for Build and Destroy. We didn't call him Glenn. We called him Bill. At that time, Bill was living in Lakeview. Raider was from Foster Projects. And Raider and Grim were making this group. Raider went on to be Grandmaster Rock Raider, one of the best DJs to ever touch a pair of turntables. That's another Harlem guy. He started in a collective of DJs that we had in Harlem called the X-Men. It was myself, I was the only rapper in the X-Men, DJ Sean C., who wound up being the A&R for Mobb Deep, Big Pun, did the Big Pun album, Dead Prez, all them people, DJ Steve D., who was the New Music Seminar Grant champion, Johnny Cash, and DJ DMD Derek. And then we added other people like Rob Swift and Sinister and all those people. But the 5 core guys and myself who created the X-Men, that were created because of Clark Kent's Superman, came out of Harlem. So this all ties together, man. It's so crazy that it's always 6 degrees of separation. You in the street, you with Slick in the Family, and then you mix that up, and then I'm here with the music side. It's shocking, man. It's all connected.
Let me just tell you another story, right? And I know Unique said something about the Big situation when Big was out there in California, and he gave me a phone call through Dawn Farrell. You understand? And I warned Big and them that guys was coming to kill us, and I was telling them that I had a source from the federal. I was telling the guys that I had the source and where it came from and everything. I told Puff and everything. But way before that, before when Unique was on the street, and I know Unique remember this, Dougie Fresh, we had a fish store and we had a game room right down on 112th
Street.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Slick was in business with this guy, James, and he had his own game room. Slick had his own game room where we used to hang out. It was like a clubhouse. You know, we had everything in there: pool tables, game room. You know, guys just coming out. It was just a fun. It was ours. We had it open all night, all day, whatever. So Dougie Fresh came to Slick, and Slick is Harlem. You understand? Mm-hmm. You know, and when I'm talking about Slick is Harlem, is that you can't tell them nothing if it ain't the Bronx, or you can't tell them about Queens and Brooklyn. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's some Harlem dudes, all they love is Harlem and the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you say anything about Brooklyn and Queens, I don't get that, but that's them. You understand? When I came here, I went to all the boroughs. I'm from St. Louis. I hung out in Brownsville. I hung out in I had in Brownsville. I hung out in Red Hook. I hung out in the 40 projects. Wherever I had a girl that I was messing with, I hung out, and I was a ball player. And when you're a ball player, they welcome you. You understand what I'm saying? I was welcoming. So now, Dougie Fresh come to the block, and Dougie Fresh is on the block, and with Miss Jones, he say, "Yo, I'm looking for Slick." So I'm like, "Yo, all right." So Slick come out the game room and everything like that. So Dougie Fresh say, "Yo, man, this dude Unique is looking for me, and somebody say he got something on top of my head." And Slick was like, "Yeah." He said, so we know Unique. We know Unique personally. So then, Slick said, "Yeah." And then Dougie did the ultimate bafoo by saying, "But I got these niggas from Brooklyn and they ready to do whatever." So Slick was like, "Oh, okay. You got the niggas from Brooklyn? Well, go ahead and get them. Because you know we ride with Unique anyway, no matter what the situation." He said, "Go ahead and get it." And he walked off from Dougie. And Dougie started doing his plea. But Slick is the type of dude, once you put a bad taste in his mouth, ain't nothing else you can say to him. So Slick just kept walking. And as he walking, he said, "Yo, man, Unique is Gene, man, too. See what Gene talk to you." So Dougie Fresh turns to me, "Yo, can you talk to Unique for me?" I said, "I'll see, man, but let me call him up. Go in the fish store and wait." So Unique went in the fish store and he waited. Dougie went in the fish store and he waited. So I called Unique up. I said, "Yo, Unique, I heard Dougie Fresh want to talk to you, man," and stuff like that. He said, "Yeah." He said, "Where you at?" I said, "He right here. I got him right there." You said, "You got him?" "I'll be right there." You understand? I said, "Unique, all right, cool." So Unique came, and Unique had like 3 carloads of dudes. Have you ever seen that shit from what's the name of that shit with Wesley Snipes now? New Jack City? Unique had the drop top. He had the drop top BMW. He was in the Jeep. He had another dude behind him and something. He had another dude behind him, like 3 or 4 dude carload niggas like that. I'm like, boom. They came on, all of them jumped out. And Unique jumped out. And he was like, "Yo, what Dougie?" I said, "Yo, Unique. Dougie ain't got nobody with him. You understand? He ain't got nobody with him but a girl." I said, "You can keep one of your mans in them right here. But if you don't mind, you know what I'm saying, could you tell him to wait down the block in front of the school? If you are," he said, "I ain't worried about nothing. All of them could wait." And he sent everybody down the block. You understand? Waiting by the school. And so then I took him in the night and I talked to him and Dougie. Him and Dougie worked out that AAO shit, and Unique know more about it than I do. But they worked it out as men, as gentlemen. You understand? And that was that. I brought them together for them to work out that situation. Unique, you could elaborate on that a little more if you want to.
Yeah. Well, what it was is, we had the situation with Naughty by Nature with the hip hop parade joint. So I was already on some, rap dudes trying to take from me. You know what I mean? So, when Dougie did the AO, I looked at it like another rap dude trying to take something from me. So I came out on, my street time looking like, okay, well, I handle mines in the street. You know what I mean? So when he did that, I came down there, and I'm not even gonna lie, I give Dougie the utmost respect. When I saw him at the Harlem Week 2022, I even apologized to him because I came on my aggressive time because, after Naughty by Nature took that hip hop hooray from me, I didn't write the hip hop hooray. I did the AL, the whole, that was our saying up in Club 2000. Ron Boogs, tap in so that you could talk to the people. I see my brother Ron Boogs in here. So the streets know what time it is. You understand what I'm saying? So now, when that happened, it was like, another rap dude trying to take something from me. And, Gene and everybody on the street know I don't run to nobody for help, even in a joint. Like I said, I don't run to nobody for help. I handle my own business. You understand? It's just when I move, my team move. You know what I mean? So I don't know, like Gene said, he done threatened, you know, about Brooklyn dudes or whatever. So I brought my team with me. But once Gene said he was by himself, I went and hollered him by himself. Dougie played at 100. He took out the big ass record and he had my name on it, Mecca Unique. You know what I mean? Because I had Mecca Audio, my name was Unique. So he needed my name to put on the record. So he made up a name, collaborating Mecca Audio and Unique together and called me Mecca Unique. You know what I mean? And if you look on the G Street record, it says from way back in 93, it says 92, it says Mecca Unique as a writer. But I didn't know Dougie did that. I'm looking at it like he another industry dude trying to take from me. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? We wound up working it out and, you know, everything came out love, man. And you know what I mean? Like I said, I got the utmost respect for Dougie, man. He's a man of his word, a man of honor. You know what I mean? You know, that's family. Go ahead, Scoop.
Another thing is crazy just listening to all of this because I know it sounds wild, but it's tying in. There's something that I need everyone that's watching this to understand. There are only a certain amount of hype men in the business. So you can count Little John, DJ Cool, myself, Dougie Fresh. You can even count Big Ali. Those are about the 5 people who, and then the voice of Harlem. You can add him in there, and 1 or 2 other people, right?
Right now for 2022, let's not forget Boogie Black. Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, so you can add Boogie because he's a new guy, right? But I want you to understand this. The majority of people who make the party and hype music come from one area, and that's Harlem. You can even add Webstar and Young B in there, Chicken Noodle Soup and all of that, the dance craze, for some reason, and you're part of that. So the lineage is like all the way starting, I look at it starting with DJ Hollywood, because he was the first one to come in and shut the club down for 2 hours and then and like shutting the disco clubs down and doing that, and all the way down. And because I didn't know it, I'm getting the education. I didn't know that those chants were coming from the club and you. So technically, you a hype man. So that means that
he was.
We
used to call him the East Coast Luke.
Oh, listen. So this is facts. It's coming down from the lineage. Is like, look, DJ Hollywood, Dougie Fresh, yourself. Then you know me and Rob Bass. Then because I had not made a record yet, I had an album, but it never came out. Rob Bass, then me, and you can count Rob Bass as a hype man too, because we both come from the Dougie Fresh school. Rob Bass, myself, then you going into all the young kids and all from Webstar on down, Boogie Black, it's all coming from one piece of soil, and that's Harlem. That's crazy. And I had talked to Doug about doing a documentary about it, because what is it about this little village on the planet Earth that brings out the best hype men, basically mostly all of them, and the best chance? That's something to think about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, our digital drug lord said Biz Marquis. Biz was there with us. I said that earlier. Biz was actually part of the Dougie Fresh. He was part of the Dougie Fresh kind of farm team that we had with myself and Rob Bass, but Biz just blew up first. There was another group that was like Dougie Fresh, because we all had kind of molded ourselves like Dougie Fresh. I had 2 DJs, Sean C. and Steve D, and then Rock Raider came in after Steve D left. But you had Reg and Eminon. You like this is really, really deep, and I need people to understand the streets and the music and the culture, whether people like it or not, a lot of it came from Harlem. Don't at me about the shit. Don't talk to me about it, because it's just actual facts. What y'all were doing in the streets with Dapper Dan, all of that, yo, that I don't care what nobody say. Dame Dash brought that to home. A lot of that came, I'm not saying all of it came from Dame Dash, but there's a lot of things, that style and all that came from Dame Dash. He was getting money uptown, but he was from the east side. Cameron, all of that. We have so Mace. We have so much musical history and so much history with style and the culture. Just little stuff. Like I remember Double O and Johnny Fresh riding around in the Jeeps with the Dapper Dan thing on the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I remember all that stuff. Look at what we did. You can call it whatever you want. You can say, yo, it was out of crime and whatever, but the music and the culture mixed, and we created something amazing in those blocks from 10th Street to 55th Street, period, man. And it's just something that people need to look at. The contribution was so amazing. Yourself, all of us in all different facets of the game, from the streets, again, to the culture, to the music. Some of the best DJs and hype men are from Harlem, period. And you part of that.
All right. Okay. So now I'm going to tell y'all a little prison story, because, that's why they're here. So we're going to jump it over to the prison. We did the history. You know what I mean? I'm going to do a separate one on this, but I'm going to give you the little short version. I get to Lee County, right? Listen to this one, Scoop. You're going to enjoy this. I get to Lee County, and they got this white female there, blonde hair, look like Coco, white iced tea girl. No disrespect to Coco iced tea, but I mean, she was bad. I'm using that for a comparison for back then. This was about 2003. Now we get there, she having sex with everybody in the joint. You know what I mean? She's having sex with anybody that wanted some, she'll get them. So they had a back cell all the way in the back. She worked the unit. At the time, they only had one female working in the unit. She worked all the way in the back. So while she working in the back, it's like crazy, because it's the last cell in the back that they using, and dudes will, she'll act like she's shaking down, and she was giving it up for nothing, no money, no nothing. So dudes rap to her, and in this area in Lee County, Virginia, they didn't have too many black people, if any black people. You know what I mean? In that area where they grew up. But when they put the prison and they brought all of us in the prison and our families came, now they got black people in the prison. So she was fascinated with black men. So one of the dudes had a cell all the way in the back that was out the way of the camera. So we used to tell her, go in the back like you shaking down the cell. You know what I mean? Because, the COs would go shake the cell down, look for contraband. She go in the back to shake down the cell. Dudes piled up on the rail, acting like they looking over, looking at the TV. But she's behind us in the cell. So she having sex, one at a time, sometimes two at a time with everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Now, because she's the only female in there. So, the police, they go in the unit, they go in the cell, shake it down. If another police come in looking for them and they know where around, they just call them on the walkie-talkie and they lock the cell, they searching so they can continue searching and come out and say what's up. So it wasn't unusual for her to be in the cell, because they try to treat the male like the females. You know what I mean? So now dudes in there, everybody having sex with her. So now dudes from other unit hear about it. So they started coming out of bounds, coming into the unit to get with her, and she giving it up to them too, Scoop. You understand what I'm saying? And then now, of course, somebody wound up doing what they call drop a kite. The Mexicans drop a wheeler. You know what I mean? She dropped the kite. They dropped the kite on her. She wound up getting bagged. The main dude that had her, that was sharing it with everybody, he winds up going to the hole for investigation, and a few other brothers that they looked on the camera to see who went up towards the cell behind her, because remember, it was in a blind spot. And then while she up there, they couldn't fire her because they ain't had nothing on her. They just got the note and they're investigating. But she was so official, she used to go to the cells of the dude that she was in love with, that turned her out, and would tell him, like, don't worry about it. I ain't going to say nothing. And he never said nothing. She never said nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So they wound up making her resign because the BOP didn't want to put it out there that, one of the females was in here screwing all the black dudes. You know what I mean? But look how ugly this play out, right? Now, dudes used to be like, yo, Unique, you know what I mean? Come on, man, because she was in my joint, you know what I mean? My unit. Yo, Unique, come on, man. You know what I mean? You know, that's the homie you going and selling gets him. I said, man, I'm good. You know what I mean? I don't want nothing that they bringing in from off the street. I'm fighting my case. I expect to go home, and I want to go home in one goddamn piece. They laughing at me, tell me, man, you bugging. You know what I mean? So the next thing you know, come to find out, she had AIDS.
Oh,
Wow.
whoa.
She got it from a black dude on the street and came into prison and said she gonna give it to as many black dudes as she can in the prison.
Oh.
Go ahead, G.
Yo, you can't go behind that, but did you know that in 2004, they legally passed a law whether it can't be consensual, if a prison guard have sex with a male or have sex with another prisoner, if a prisoner guard has sex with a prisoner, it's considered rape.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe that.
They made that legal because a person with authority cannot have consensual sex with anybody that's in the prison system. They made that law. So a lot of
believe that because I remember when Bill Clinton came in, he made a law in the military that if a lower subordinate have sex with an upper subordinate, that's considered rape because the lower subordinate felt like they had to do it because that was their superior. So that would be understood. Now, somebody asked about ADX. What's the question about ADX? Put your question up so I could answer. He said, I got a question about ADX. Shoot the question. But, you know, I did 5 years in ADX, man, 4.5 years. Yo, that joint there, when I went in my first day and I came out years later and I got back in the bus at the same spot that the bus pulled up at. You understand what I'm saying? It felt like it was one long day.
Wow.
I sat on the bus and tried to think, what did I do yesterday or last week, being that I'm leaving? And I'm not lying to you, I couldn't think of nothing because all the days meshed together as one. So that's why I do these prison stories, to let y'all know that it ain't nothing nice about that, man. Like they said, all that I did on the street with the music, the cars, the drugs, the everything, the women, the money, you know what I mean? 26 years they took me away from my family, my children, and from y'all. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm telling you it wasn't worth it. Go ahead, Gene.
Well, you know what, Unique? I used to, as being a parole officer, I've heard 27 years of different stories from about 60 to 80 men, different men a year. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to be a part of their lives to help change their lives. I read their PSI, their pre-sentence investigation report. I read their summaries. I went to their families. I sat there, and anybody who sat in front of me knew I tried to acclimate them back to the streets and be a part of their family, to help their family be a part of them so they can get back into the community the right way. I've had guys, and I can tell you stories, man, who this young guy from the Bronx, he came home and he said, yo, parole officer Deal, I don't never want to go back to jail. I don't never want to go back to jail. He said, yo, I need to show you something. I went to his house. The dude pulled out $300,000 and some that he had and put in this concrete wall behind his grandmother project building. I said, damn, if she would have moved, bro, you did like 5 or 6, 7 years. If she would have moved, what if somebody would have got this apartment? You know what I'm saying? He said, I'd have came here and got my money. He said he had $300,000 and some. I said, man, I don't know if you trust somebody or what, but you got to get that money up out of here. Because if you take that, if we come here and then we search here and you got that money in your house, they're gonna take that, bro. You understand? So he got rid of the money and everything. He got a job at Audubon Pond. Audubon Pond. Because they was hiring a lot of prisoners down there.
Mm-hmm.
I said this motherfucker got $307,000. He ain't gonna last long. Y'all come down to the Audubon Pond and check his job, Unique. He mopping the floor. I come down a month later, he behind the counter making sandwiches. Because it sells, he's making sandwiches.
All right, look, some Ron Boogs and somebody else asked, nah, they didn't charge the female because the way the feds work is if they don't want their scandal to get out. You know what I'm saying? Whatever happened behind those federal BOP walls, because that's supposed to be the most secure prison. Listen, man, I gave y'all some stories on my channel so far, like the one about Dickie Lynn. This is a white dude that was so ingenuitive that he escaped from the prison by buying a truck. You know what I mean? He bought a truck and then had them gut out the bottom. You know what I mean? He worked in the kitchen on the food dock. So he doctored up the paperwork, you know what I mean? To have fruits delivered. So he had his people go buy a bunch of fruits or whatever it was, put it on the truck, brought it to the prison, showed the paperwork to get in, and then while they were unloading the truck, he unloading the truck and he dropped on his back, slid up under the joint, got up in a little hole in the bottom of the truck. They sealed it up. When they drive out, they got this big round mirror like the dentist put in your mouth that they hold and look under the truck to see if anybody under there. So all they saw was the closed bottom. This brother got away. And while he was away, his co-defendant, and he was a big drug smuggler, was flying in plane loads, you know what I mean? From over in Colombia, over there to Louisiana, but he was originally from the Tampa Keys, you know what I mean? So he knew the waters, you know what I mean? But this brother escaped from the joint, man. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm going to say I was blessed to be around him because just to get a piece of his mind to see what he was thinking is what made me, you know, that's a part of my DNA now. You understand what I'm saying? And this is a white guy that I'm giving all the props to. And he was an excellent dude, good temperament. While he escaped, his co-defendants 1 day appeal. You understand? And they all copped out to like 5 years and went home. But he was away. He was on a run for like 18 months. What they did was they closed his appeal. And while he was on a run and said, we're not going to open it back up. You violated your chance for an appeal. He got caught after they got released. And he wound up spending another 3 decades in prison until he just came home on a compassionate release. I'm going to bring that man up here because I know him personally. Like I said, I ran into everybody from the street to the prison. You know what I mean? I'm going to bring him up here so he could tell you his story in his own words because I might have 1 or 2 little things wrong as far as whether it was a fruit truck or a meat truck. You know what I mean? So, you know, this is YouTube, so they're going to try, you know, but I know him personally. He know me and he stamps what I say. And so does, you know, Gene and them when we talk about hip hop. You know what I mean? But I try and give the stories so y'all understand how this thing is. You understand what I'm saying? It is 100% nothing nice about prison. I was telling Scoop this morning, I just interviewed a Sereno. You know how hard it is for a black dude to talk to a Sereno in the prison because they're not allowed. If the people see him talking to him, they're going to get whooped. They're going to get a DP. They're going to have to go in the cell with 2 or 3 of their homies for like 30 seconds, 13 seconds, whatever it is, and get, you know, beat down for talking to a black man or smoking behind us or drinking with us. If I got a soda and I pour half the can in my can and I tried to give him the other hand that I didn't even drink from and they saw him take it, they're going to punish him. You know what I mean? And I got him to come up here. I played part 1 today. That's the last video I showed. I got part 2 is coming Friday. I stopped it at that part where I stopped it at and put to be continued when he mentioned about dude who dropped the note and was snitching on the big homie and was trying to make it look like the big homie was snitching. Now, y'all need to tune in Friday at 9 o'clock to catch that second half because we really get into the prison stories. The beginning was like the beginning of this where we just really just kicking it about who we are so you know who the men is. Now, they haven't been to prison, but they watch my show. They know me personally, so they got their questions. But it's so much. Scoop asked me this morning about how much content you think you got left. I said, man, I got 26 years of misery. You know what I mean? To give them. You understand what I'm saying? So they ain't even got to worry about it. Like I give you another short one just came to my mind that quick. We in a joint. They got what they call a unicorn. It's a factory. Unicorn is where they got the females coming from the outside to work because they specialize in whatever trade they're doing in the unicorn that they got to teach the inmates how to do. So you got like a clothing factory. I'm a certified seamstress. I know how to use a juki machine, thread the juki machine, the singer, take it apart, fix the motor. I learned all that blessings of the FBOP. You know what I mean? And I couldn't read or write when I went in there. I know how to do electrical work, how to solder things. They had a solder factory in Lum Park. They had a printing factory in Lum Park. You know what I mean? The sewing joint was in Lee County. I know how to make furniture. The same seat that I'm sitting on right here, I know how to make this joint from scratch because I learned that at ADX. You understand what I'm saying? I took advantage of the programs because they took him out to prison, and that's how I got out. I know everybody like, man, he did all that, and he out, and there's no blemish on my name. And I'm not trying to dog nobody that got blemishes on their names. They know what they did. They got to deal with their own demons, like I'm dealing with my own demons of being away for 26 years. So I don't have the energy to worry about what the next man did. But by no means do I agree with any of that. You understand what I'm saying? But now I'm going to tell you about the girl that I'm going to answer TV question. We in one of the factories, and, you know, the girls from the street, they don't get the training that the COs get, where they tell them don't talk to the inmates because they're real manipulative. You know what I mean? Like, they teach them when they come in as a CO to tell the females, if an inmate compliments you on your hair, don't say nothing. You could write him a charge for fraternizing. And
yo, unique. They said if you ugly when you went in there, when you ugly on the outside, believe it, you ugly when you go on the inside.
There you go. You know, but look, so it was this nice looking Spanish chick working in the joint, black dude. You know what I mean? From the Dirty South car. You know what I mean? They like, you know, me telling Dirty South stories. Dirty South dude had good game. I ain't even gonna front. He had good game. He pulled this chick and he had her so comfortable that he's sitting there and he's drinking a soda. And while he's drinking the soda, he puts the soda down and finished talking to her and the other group of men that he's talking to. And the lady picked up the soda and started drinking it.
Okay, there you go. You about to get bad.
And now at that time, the SIS was hearing a whiff that the female worker was a little too close to the inmate. So the female worker, I'm even gonna tell you his name. He the best that ever did it, man. His name was Feeney. He out the Bronx, a little white Irish dude. You know what I mean? Name was Feeney. If he see this, he already know he don't retired. I heard he got caught up in something, you know, allegedly out in Arizona. But Feeney was the best SIS ever had. Feeney came to me in Allenwood and said, this when I was there with Guy Fisher, you understand what I'm saying? And Underwood, you understand what I'm saying? And Suliani, you know what I mean? Matula Shakur's brother, you understand what I'm saying? Big T, you know, I'm there with men, you know, Scooter, you know what I mean? I'm there with men.
God bless Scooter.
We need the free Scooter. But,
yeah, no doubt.
You know, Brooklyn's finest, we all up in the joint, right? And these dudes, it's like, you can't even imagine what it's like. I'm slinging dope a mile a minute. You know what I mean? You know, it's 2000. I only been out 8 years, 7 years at the time. I got locked up in 93, so like 7 years. So I'm still on the street. I'm getting visits every day. I'm sending dope to this person's house to bring it in and that person's house for them to bring it in and that. So now when it was so much drugs on the compound, because then another one of the homies started getting in pounds of weed and black tar, heroin, and the pound was just flooded like 42nd Street in the 70s. You know what I mean? They bring a special SIS in named Feeney. I'm going to tell all these stories individually, so y'all remind me in the comments or whatever. Or Friday night, I'm going to do a live with my man Mario X3 that I'm going to air the part 2 of his video Friday. So remember the questions. I'm going to forget all this. This is the stuff that came to my head. Feeney was there. They brought Feeney in because they wanted to cut down they wanted to catch all the drug dealers and clean the compound up. Feeney was so official. He from the Bronx. He came in and little white dude, chewed tobacco, always wore a Jets jacket, a green Jets jacket because he was Irish. He came in and he pulled each one of us up when he seen us walking on the compound. He said, look, I know what you're doing. I know you selling all the dope on the compound, and I know you got all the knives on the compound, and I know you holding the knives on the compound, and I know you bringing the drugs in for Unique, or you bringing it in for such and such from DC and such from here and there, but I don't say no names. So the people that was there know who such and such is from DC and all the places that were bringing it in, Carolina and everything else. But he came and he said, I'm going to give y'all a chance to pick any jail you want to go to.
Oh, shit.
But like Martin said, but you got to get out of here. You know, any jail that he wants to go that we want to go to. So I put in to go to Terminal Island in California. You know what I mean? Because the Ninth Circuit was giving up love if you did what they call a 2241. So I need to get there for my legal case. So I put in to go to Terminal Island, sweet joint. You sit in the bleachers and you see the ocean. The girls ride by on the jet skis, putting up their shirt, showing their tatas. And you know this, like you in prison 10, 20 years and you see a girl pair of joints, you going crazy. So I'm trying to get out there to lay back and look at some tatas. You know what I mean? But then now they try to put me in there. They looked at my record and they said, oh, nah, we can't send you out there. You know what I mean? But they told me that's where they're going to send me. But instead, they send me to Lombok. That's how I get to Lombok. I get to Lombok, and every second of the month, the second, like the first of the month, then the second, every second of the month, they had a police that was bringing a half a key of black tar for the Serenos who was giving it to the Border Brothers because the Serenos wasn't allowed to sell it, but it was a Sereno Connect, Sereno police. So they gave it to a Border Brother who their gang or their organization was allowed to deal with blacks. You understand what I'm saying? But and every second of the month, the deuces went off because somebody OD'd. Somebody OD'd. Because there was so much drugs for what you was getting for $25 before the second, a little tiny little pinch like this. You know, a little pinch. You know what I mean? But now on the second, you getting something like this. So dudes ain't been getting high or you know, from the middle of the month because by that half a key gone by the 10th or the 12th of the month. You know what I mean? Then they got to wait till the second. So whoever got something, they're going to take them big joints they got, chop them down in like 8 little pieces and sell them for the same price as they would for the one. So you make a killing. And people just so happy to get something to just taste it. You know what I mean? That they go for it. You know what I mean? But Feeney sent me out there to Lombok, and that joint there was a culture shock, man. That was a culture shock.
Why was it the culture? Why was it a culture shock?
Because when I go out there, it's the majority is Mexicans from different gangs.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been anywhere that the blacks was the minority. When I went through Oklahoma, they got like 30 tables in the day room that you sit down at to eat, and everybody sit with their gang or their group or their geographical location, Dirty South, New York, DC, East Coast, whatever. You know what I mean? But now, when we in that joint and we sat down, out of those 30 tables, 5 tables was black people. The other 25 was all Mexicans and a few whites. So I've never been nowhere that black people was the minority until I got to the Midwest in Oklahoma and they get ready to take me out to California. When I get out to California, listen, when I first got locked up and I went to Allenwood coming out of ADX in 99. When I got to Allenwood, I met, no disrespect, they call them natives, but we called them Indians in the joint. You know what I mean? But they call themselves native for Native Americans. That's the politically correct way, not disrespect anybody, just letting y'all know the lingo. But I only know Indians from cowboys and Indian movies. I didn't even know that Indians existed in America. Because, you know, where they had
unique.
Yeah.
To educate you on that, the indigenous people that were natives here in America were us as what we call black. They used to call us blacks Indians before the census changed that. The census changed us from Indians to blacks. United States Census changed that.
You see what I'm saying? But like I said, I was totally ignorant and naive. So, you know, no disrespect to the natives. But when I saw it was a dude there, he had, you know, a couple of tattoos on his neck, and you know, that was all right. And they said he was an Indian, cool. But when I got out west, now I'm talking, it was like maybe it was 2 Indians on the whole Allenwood compound. I get out west, it's like definitely. 200 of them.
Definitely.
It's like 200, and they got tattoos on the face with feathers, and you know what I mean? And you know, I mean, and the Mexican brothers from the gangs got all the tattoos on the face, and we wasn't used to that on the East Coast. I'm just keeping it 100. You know what I mean? Yeah, let me see. EBTV said, is it true that the old man and got to have lunch with Jeff Ford after being in solitary confinement for decades? I don't understand what that question means, but he's talking about he's talking about Larry Hoover. I got that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about that. That's after I left. I remember I opened up ADX in like 95. You know what I mean? From after the crack law riot. But so they brought a lot of other people there afterwards. Yo, thank you, Greg Lewis, for the donation. You know what I mean? Now, okay, did I know? Did I spend time? Let me answer the question. I got you. Did I do time with Delroy Uzi with the Rankers posse in ADX? Yes. Me and Delroy was in the same unit. He was upstairs. I mean, he was on the other side. I was downstairs. The way ADX work is when you go out to the yard, you got windows on the first floor, and you know the brothers come to the window, and we hold our pictures up to the window, and we show them the picture of New York or wherever you from, because there's a lot of California dudes there too. You know, so yes, I did time with Delroy Uzi. Delroy Uzi, to give you an idea who he is. You know what I mean? When I was with Delroy Uzi in ADX, right? Delroy Uzi was collecting all the magazines that we got. You know, we had subscriptions to The Vibe, The Source, Rap Pages, and all that. He wanted us to give us all the old magazine when he was done, and he put them in a box and he'll mail them back to Jamaica. He never forgot about his brothers and sisters back in Jamaica. So whatever we didn't want at the end, Delroy Uzi would send it back to Jamaica. But Delroy Uzi now was the type that he came out, he went to Marion first. When he came out of Marion, they sent him to Atlanta. When he got to Atlanta after being confined so long, like I was telling you, Scoop, how I heard the dude here in the leg in his pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Delroy Uzi came out and he was paranoid from all the noise and the movement. Because I talked to him when he came back, you know, to solitary confinement. He said when he came out, he put his back to the wall and he was scared to death because the noise was so amplified, so many people walking by him fast, and he wasn't used to nothing moving like that. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So now it's rumored that while he was in there, he went and told all the Jamaican brothers, because, you know, I got to tell how the Jamaicans move in jail, because they've been asking me that a lot. You know what I mean? But it's just so much, I can't give you everything at once. But all the Jamaican brothers stick together. Delroy went and told all the Jamaican dudes that he had a beef. This is the story when he was in Atlanta. Said he told everybody he had a beef and he needed a knife. You know what I mean? Everybody gave him a knife. You know what I mean? Because that's Delroy Uzi. You know what I mean? And he got a beef. He said, no, I don't need you to get involved. I got this. Just give me a knife. I'm getting ready to punish this Yankee boy. You know what I mean? Niggas already know how Delroy get down. So everybody gave Delroy his knife. And then Delroy turned around, allegedly, and wound up stabbing the dude because he told him go get his pillow, and the dude didn't want to go get his pillow. And he was still on some, you know, cocky kingpin time. Like if I say go get something, nigga, you
go get it. Go get it.
You know so he wound up getting everybody knife so they couldn't help the dude that he wanted to stab. And then he wound up coming back to ADX. Go ahead.
Wow.
That's great.
You know, the thing that's interesting to me is how much does your reputation ring in those prisons? Do guys get a certain break because their name is big, or it don't matter in there? Like, you know, like who? Yeah, you did this, but I did this. Like, does your name mean anything in there?
No, see, your name means something and it don't mean nothing. It don't matter about your name because when you was on the street, you made your name with the pistol. You know what I mean? But now it ain't no more pistols, my brother. You know what I mean? Now it's about that knife play. You know what I mean? Ain't even about the knuckle game, because you get into something in the feds, they gonna get their knife, so you better go get your knife. You know what I mean? You know, like, you know, Big C. You know what I mean? Rest in peace from the Supreme Team. You know what I mean? He one of the most official brothers that we ever had from New York, and he out of Queens. You know, no disrespect to Queens or nobody, but I'm saying, but he's from Queens, and he was one of the most official dudes that we had in the BOP when I first came in. You know what I mean? This before they started bringing in other drug dealers. Because remember, C got locked up before me with Prince and all of them. Right. C got into it with a dude. I'm going to tell the story later. But he get into it with a Mexican dude. And then he told the Mexican dude, if you say something to me one more time, you ain't going to get what I owe you. You understand what I'm saying? So now, that when the dude knew that C had it, he went to C and said, yo, what's up? I heard you got that. C said, didn't I tell you, you asked about that one more time, you not getting nothing? So C went and took 2 knives out his waist, threw them in the sink in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in the gym, you know, and told him, get whichever one you want, because that's the only way you're going to get anything from me. You did. I'm not paying you nothing. And this was a connected gang member from one of the most deadliest, you know, Mexican gangs. And C told all the homeboys, don't even get involved. I got this dude. But that's how C got down. You know, then
What
we had
was the
future dudes, you know, Homicide Lou, aka Lou Sims. Don't forget, we had a good brother out the Bronx, Dap. You know what I mean? That a lot of them don't even know about. Just one of the quiet gangsters out there. Black started the Black Hand in Lewisburg, where he went to, instead of trying to you know, take from the black people that had money, that had name, that was soft or whatever, he went after the Spanish people and white people. He said, y'all got money, so y'all got to pay me for being on this compound with me.
now here's the thing. You come in, right? And you don't want nothing. You're gonna have to pay, basically. Correct? Say you come into the compound, you don't want no beef. You're gonna have to pay. Don't it just make more sense to go get your knife and do what you gotta do, because you gotta live in there. You can't pay forever.
Listen, there ain't no paying, because once you pay one man, everybody's gonna go at you, because it ain't like you just don't want to fight that man. It's just that you're a coward and you don't want to fight. So,
right, so you might as well just go at everybody. Like, fuck that. I mean,
listen, man. I was in Lone Park, and they let a Spanish dude.
Y'all gonna have to beat me out, man. You're gonna have to beat me out. Y'all got an editing job to do, bro.
Yeah, but what you gotta understand is, Scoop, is that these guys they test your temperature.
Definitely.
Because just like somebody move on the block, you understand?
Same rules.
And he come out, he want to play ball, he want to do like this. The guys test his temperature, see what kind of dude he is like that. They could do that in every place, in every form of any and everything in our society today. There's no way you could go and say, yo, listen, I just want to do my time, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? It's somewhere, somehow, somebody's going to test your temperature. And when that's done, you understand, you either react as a man or you get played like a sucker. And in jail, you find a sucker, you lick him.
Listen, and this is the thing for everybody who's watching. If you don't want to deal with that, you definitely need to leave this alone, because you have to understand, the minute that you walk in, and I've never been into a facility, I've had family members and people and going to visit many people. When you go into some place like that, and I've had many conversations, Trell, God bless the dead, Trell used to talk to me about this all the time. Trell, and I know both of y'all know Trell. Trell told me the most fun he ever had in his life was in Elmira. I said, what kind of maniac
I know Trell, but you know Trell was a little off, bro. So you know, for him to say some shit like that, you know what I'm saying?
But listen, some people love it. Some people love it. Some people love it, and it depends on what your personality is. If you're a warrior, you may actually love that. But going back to what I'm saying, this is war, and anything that you do, any disrespect, the smallest disrespect has to be met with absolute violence. So, you know, kids that are thinking about this, let if you're somebody out there, you're one of their loved ones, let them see this, because you have to understand, this ain't like it is in the street. Like, we're gonna talk it out, we're gonna go get somebody to be a mediator. When somebody to come to you, that's it, basically. You got to do what you got to do, or you're not going to be able to live.
See, what happens is that these guys want to play like they gorillas out here on the streets. You understand? You don't really, you're not a gorilla. You think that you're a gorilla. But when you go to prison, you got to be ready for the ape shit, because it's real there. You understand? Because all that shit that you going to go get a gun, or all that shit that you may get a knife. If you get a knife, you got to pay for that. Everything in jail costs, bro. You understand? I dealt with enough prisoners to know this to be facts. You understand? So now you got these young cats, they don't have no sense of consequences. They think that, you know what I'm saying, they're going to go to jail and they're going to do a year or two, or whatever they get their sentence off, and they're going to come home. You may not make it home.
You may not make it home.
You may not make it home. And the ones who do make it home, don't you know that anybody that does jail time can come home and get SSI?
Wow, I didn't know that.
they can apply for SSI. You understand?
Why is that?
That's because it's the mental part of and the psychological frame of mind that jail puts you in.
Mhm.
You understand? So a lot of cats who go out and don't use the system to better themselves, they can apply for SSI due to the fact. Go ahead, Unique.
Okay, no, see, they can apply for S. They got a whole pamphlet of things that they offer after you do time. And because a lot of guys do time, and to answer Daniel Reed's question, a lot of guys do time with the psychedelic medication that they give. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning the pill line at like 8 o'clock at night, it might take 4 hours to give out pills. Because what they do is all those different pharmaceutical companies, they try out all their psychedelic medication that's not FDA approved within the BOP.
So do you know why they call it? You know, in fact, Scoop. Do you know why they call those guys 730? The crazy people 730.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they call them 730. Of course, I know 730, but why is that?
Because in the prison system, they supposed to start giving everybody medication out
at 7:30. You understand? And the prison locked down at 9, and they wound up locking everybody down at 9, or they leave the joint open. It depends what lieutenant on until all of that is over. You understand what I'm saying? And like I said, they giving out this medication, but you know, you got people, because you go to a psychiatrist and you tell them, oh man, I'm having trouble sleeping. You're gonna be like, oh, well, try this medication. You know what I mean? And then you come back, well, it's not really doing nothing. Well, try this pink one if the blue one didn't work. And you don't even know what it is they're giving you. They're not telling you nothing. They just giving you medication. Wow. But then you go to report to them once a month, and then they ask you questions how the medication is, and they turn that over to the pharmaceutical company to see what it is. You know what I mean? Like I was in Lum Park, and I'm going to get back to that with the mental illness. But I was in Lum Park, and if y'all don't know, Lum Park, California, Lum Park is an Indian name that means dirty water. So the water, you can't even drink the water. If you take a shower with the water, it breaks you out with big black bumps like you got eat up by a mosquito. You know what I mean? But that's the water for the prison. It was so bad that they were selling 64 ounces of water for 10 cents at the commissary. A big bottle of water like this for 10 cents. You understand what I'm saying? And you go in a dude's cell, he might have 50 bottles because that's what you brush your teeth with. That's what you wash your face with. You know what I mean? After you take a shower, you take a bottle in the shower and you pour it on you and try and wash off that soap water, you know, the prison water. But there's guys that drunk that water that actually died from that water, and the BOP buried it. But what he's saying about the mental illness in prison, nobody messes with the crazy dudes in prison, as we call them. We just leave them where they at because we know that they got issues. You understand what I'm saying? But if you stay in your lane in prison and don't go into prison and hustle, because that's going to bring out wolves. You know what I mean? Just like on the street, a dude hustling, the dude going to try your coke. You understand what I'm saying? And so on the street, you know, try to take your block from you. You getting drugs in the prison, you know what I mean? Dude gonna try you. I know dudes ran up in cells on dude to take their drugs and wound up getting killed in the cell by the dude who had the drugs that he thought he was gonna get out on. You understand what I'm saying? I know dudes that ran up in the cell. There's a dude that went out on the thing. I'm gonna tell that in another story, but it's a dude, true story. When I was in Lewisburg, that dude went out on a thing as a mule, you know, to bring the drugs in for somebody, and he was taking too long to defecate it. Because that's how when you swallow it, you got to wait for it to go through your system a day or two, sometimes 3. It depends how big you are, how much meat the person been eating. But you better wait for him to defecate it and bring it out. Dude took 3-4 days to get it out. They couldn't wait to get the drugs because they was dope fiends. They went, killed this dude, cut his stomach open to take out the dope, went in the cell, shot the dope up, and then got locked up and sentenced to life for killing a man and gutting him to get the dope out.
Listen,
and that's what these kids don't see. These kids don't know. These kids out here wilding, thinking they're going to get away with this little dumb shit, instead of saying, listen to me, let me give me a trade. Let me give me some kind of education. Because if you notice, every individual who's done real time, you understand, who's done real time in prison, they come out and say, Like, I never want to go back to prison. Like I was trying to tell a story earlier. This dude said he never wanted to go back to prison. He ended up going to, with $300,000 that he saved, ended up going to Audubon Pond, ended up becoming on the line, ended up becoming a supervisor, and 2 years later, they done made him the district representative and moved him to Boston and gave him a check for $175,000 to move his whole family. This is a guy who was in prison, who's did the time and said, I'm never going back. You understand? He's never going back. You got guys like Unique. You got guys who come out here, you know, who had millions. Yo, let me just tell you something, man. Unique has so much motherfucking money. And this, I've never even seen it, but you know when they got money. You understand? All the pretty girls, you know what I'm saying? All the pretty cars, all the jewelry, all the nice, just, you know when niggas got money. You understand? When hustlers I knew was saying, yo, Unique got it. I was like, nigga, don't you got it? He said, not like Unique. Unique, and it's people. Unique was flashy, you understand? But if you ask anybody back in the day, Unique and Fritz had boatloads of shit.
I was just about to ask that.
You understand?
Fritz was completely different. Quiet guy, unassuming. Because you guys knew Fritz. Like for us, for me, again, being on the music side and being a little bit younger, just a lot of this was myth and the boogeyman and all that kind of stuff. Even though I lived on 10th Street, I never saw Fritz.
Right.
I never saw Fritz.
I got a story about him in my book.
Right.
I always about Fritz in my book.
I always heard about him, but his whole thing was that he was low key. Do you think, Unique, if you would have been more low key, do you think you would have made it longer?
Yeah, but then I wouldn't have been Unique. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, listen, man. I grew up in the era of Bat Ross. You understand? Of Freddie Myers. You know what I mean? Where these dudes, you know, was wearing endangered species on their feet, changing them up all day. Where all the cars they had was black. You know what I mean? Black Mercedes, black BMW, black Cadillac, black Lincoln. Everything looked the goddamn same. But that's why they called him Bat Ross, because, you know, he drove Batmobiles. You know what I mean? And they, you know, and that's how he looked. But, you know, it was like, you know, we want to show what we got. You know, that's what the era was about. You know what I mean? That's what
it's just so funny that Fritz was the absolute antithesis of that, like a quiet, down low dude. You heard his name, but I never saw him. And if they said it, like they were like, he's just extremely low key.
Okay, listen. Back in the day, like when Frank Lucas, they did the American Gangster Bout. If you've seen the movie, you saw he tried to be low key and his wife made him wear that big ass chinchilla, and that's how he got locked up. Most of the old head Heron dudes, they wasn't flashy. Let's get that right. So Fritz grew up under that era, watching those guys that was getting it, that wasn't flashy. He on 112th Street, and you know they on 116th Street. So he saw these laid back dudes. So I assume that's where he got that from. I'm up on 155th Street. 145th Street with the rooftop, the S&S, the Zodiac, the Ponderosa, Mark IV. You understand what I'm saying? The rooftop, Willie's. That's where everybody go to shine. So I grew up watching them shine. And then Fritz grew up watching them lay low, but having it like that. So I picked that up because Kevin Childs have a lot of that Fritz in him. Like AZ got a lot of that Fritz in him because AZ didn't really drive a lot of his cars. You know what I mean? But me, I might drive I drive $200,000 worth of cars in one day. I'm changing cars, you know what I mean, to go match my outfits. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm not going to drive a blue car with a red outfit unless I got red and blue in the outfit.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And during the day, you know, like I had a green MPV, forest green tinted windows with the hammers on it. I had the yellow MPV with the yellow and black interior. Because I went and bought a yellow and black outfit, so I needed something yellow and black. You know what I mean? So I went and bought an MPV, took this shop and said, make this yellow and black, give me the seats yellow and black. I need to match this outfit. You understand? Because I went to Dapper Dan. He said he had some nice looking yellow joint there. He said, man, this will look nice on you with your black ass. You know what I mean? I said, bet. But now I got to get a whip to match it. You understand what I'm saying? I said, how long is it going to take you to have it ready? He said, man, I can have it ready by the end of the night. I said, nah, but I ain't got no outfit yet. Give me 2 days to go build a car for that. And then I went out and I bought the MPV, took it over there to Jerome Avenue to Carlos, had him put the rims on it, had him do the interior, the system. Now I'm ready for the joint. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so my question is, number one, how many cars were you guys buying a month back then? And when, at what point, because now we know that, for example, I went to buy a car in cash. They was like, nope. Like, yo, you gotta do this. They don't do that no more. And I'm hands up. Now put your hands up. Were you on the street when the rules changed? Like, you went to the dealership and they were like, listen, man, we can't do this no more.
Okay, listen. The first time I went to the dealership, right? I went to go buy my M3, right? They wanted $35,000 for it. It had like maybe 100 miles on it from them test driving it. You know what I mean? So I go in there and I said, nah, I don't want that when somebody else drove it. I want a brand new joint. I want something with 0 miles on it. You know what I mean? So the dude said, man, I'll give it to you for a good price. They cost $35. You know what I mean? He said, well, give me 30 for it. You understand what I'm saying? And he went to fill out paperwork. And I said, nah, I do better than that. I'll give you 25 cash for it. You know what I mean? And he said, nah, we can't take cash. You know what I mean? This is what the salesman told me. You understand? So the salesman went and told his boss that this dude trying to buy the car cash, like he reporting me to the boss so that he can report me to the IRS. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know no better. I'm just coming out. It's at 87. So when he did that, the owner came and caught me in the office. He said, look, you got 25,000 right now. I put the shoebox on the table that from the sneakers I brought from KP Kong up on 45th.
KP Kong.
You know what I mean? I showed him the 25 grand. I said, yeah, I want the car. He said, okay, but we can't do it that way. Here's the title. And he went in his file and he handed me the title to the car. He said, you can have the title. I'm going to take this 25 cash, but I got to put it in increments. I can't put it in all at once. But I'm selling you the car. Here's your title. Here's my cash. But everything will go through in about 30 to 45 days because I got to put it in money orders this way, that way. I ain't going to give y'all all the game. But, you know, that's how I learned the game. So now when I went down to Martin's, I went down there and instead of going to talk to a salesman, I went and talked to the manager. You know what I mean? And I went down there with 4 shoe boxes, you know what I mean, with 25,000 in each shoe box. You know what I mean? I go down there with the shoe box. I go in the office. I say, look, my brother coming up. I need 2 Mercedes-Benz for tonight. You know what I mean? He said, well, how's your credit looking? So I put the boxes on top of the counter, and then I gave him 20 grand for himself and said, you work this in how you want to work it out, but give me the title right now so I can leave with the title, and I'm going to leave you this 100,000 for these 2 Mercedes-Benz 300E. You understand?
Right away.
Because everybody was trying to get a piece of that drug money. Now they acting like we the biggest animals and this and that from the era, but they all encouraged us. Nobody told us, I'm going to report you, I'm going to do that. They said, no, let me show you how to do that.
Okay, here's a final question for you. I remember Kevin Childs, a bunch of other people, like, you know.
You remember when Kevin Childs had Boss Records on 160?
Yeah, 100%. Kev used to hustle on the corner of 109th Street and Madison Avenue. I used to see him coming with the cars. We young, we bugging when we see this. There were people getting cars like AZ used to talk about this. Getting cars from 2 years, if it's 87, getting the 89 car and the cars that weren't even available. How are you guys able to do that? Because even in today's world, we're not able to do that. How are you guys able to get cars that weren't even, it wasn't even that year. They might have been in Germany. How did you do it?
I can answer that one. Is that because we remember Zip. Zip was the first dude in Harlem that had the Phantom.
Yeah.
You understand? And
I remember
Puff was mad at the dealer because they allowed Zip to get it. You understand? The only one that they had, and it hadn't been out. It wasn't even out yet.
It was the white. Was it the white one? Was it the white one that Zip had?
There was a black one. It was the black one.
Okay. I seen Zip one time in the white Phantom. That might have been the first one.
Yeah. So what happens is this: is that they have a relationship, like you said, with the managers, and they knows the cars that's coming out because they see them at the show. Remember, they always have the concept cars that comes to the show first. So what they do, they go to the dealer. They say, before that hit the street, I want to be the first one with it. You're saying, like Unique just said, he gave the dealer 20,000 or 10,000. Say, when I hit the showroom, you understand? When you know you got it coming in, or you could get it for me, I want it first. Throw some money on the table and then bring it up.
All right, let me get to you like this, man, because he touched it, but let me give him the behind the scenes on it. They had what they called the car show at Javits Lincoln Center,
right
downtown. When you go there, like they said, they had the concept cars that Big Gene just mentioned. Now, the last one I went to was 1993, and they just came out with the 600 Mercedes with the double window to keep all the sound out. You know what I mean? The Mercedes Benz with the double window. That was the big 500, I think it was, 500 or 600. But they just came out with that, and they had it in the showroom. You understand what I'm saying? Now, when they had it in the showroom, me and my man Dietrich from what they call Edamore. You know what I mean? Dietrich and Jamel. You know what I mean? All three of us is down there, and we in the joint. We walking through the joint. We got on our Dapper Dan outfits. It's the same thing like we go to a Mike Tyson fight in Atlantic City. Everybody got on their Dapper Dan, got their best jewelry with the chain, with the medallion and diamonds to match the car that we drove. I can't drive the Z without a Z medallion and diamonds. I can't drive the BMW, the red joint, without the red joint with the diamonds in it and the rubies. I can't drive the blue joint without the blue joint in it. So we coming through there with all these jewels on as black dudes, and rappers wasn't getting paid like that. Forget what y'all heard. You know what I mean? So we come through there, they knew we was the dope men. They know when we come in, we don't use banks. You know what I mean? So we come in, they pull us to the side and say, look, this Mercedes get ready to come out. Give me 50,000, and I'm gonna get you the first one that come on the East Coast. I'm gonna order it for you. I'm gonna give a shout out. I don't even know if I should say his name. But I'm gonna say it like this, so you know I wasn't the only one getting money.
He probably dead now. It's been 26 years.
Now, look. The story's still good without me saying the name, because you know they quick to say that somebody's snitching on here. You know what I mean, on YouTube. So I ain't gonna say the name. I'm gonna get a scenario. That's how I do my prison stories. But it's old hood story. One of the little homies went over to Route 46, and he ordered the 325 BMW before it came out. You know what I mean? From one of the used car lots over there. So he had the Indian dude that worked over there, and he get whatever you want worldwide. So he went and got him the little 325. He put the blue BBSs on it, and he came uptown, and he the first one with it.
I know what you're talking about.
I know you know, and anybody from uptown know. You know what I mean? But I ain't gotta say the name. You know what I mean? But anyway, so he come and he driving a joint, and he got a spot right next to my spot. Mecca Audio, you know what I mean, in the buildings. He the building next door. So he came, I seen the joint, and I said, damn, that joint hot. He said, yeah, but I already drove it. So, I'm getting ready to get the white one. I don't like the blue no more. You know what I mean? So I said, yeah. I said, man, I like that joint. He said, man, just give me a key for it. You know what I mean? And I brought the key right there on 125th Street, you know what I mean, from him for a kilo of cocaine, and got in the car, drove uptown with the title, then had to go hit one of my females that I was dealing with to tell her, yo, because, I was young then. So I hit her and tell her, yo, your mom's work at the bank, right? Well, tell her I'm going to give her $5,000. I needed to put this car in her name for me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how we had to move things around. And when I got locked up, they took like 15 cars from me. One of the cars they took was a Stutz Bearcat. Y'all Google that. If you don't know what a Stutz Bearcat is, that's that black car that DMX drove in Never Die Alone.
Wow.
The one that he left that the white guy went and picked up, that's a Stutz. They only made 5 of those cars a year, and I had one of those 5.
Wow, I have one final question because I got to go pick up my son from work. I got one question that has always been on my mind for yourself and anybody who has ever made a huge amount of money selling drugs. Do you ever think about what would have happened if you would have known real financial literacy at the time? What you could have probably done with that money? Like if you were financially literate and you knew to put it into Apple, or you knew to put it into whatever, a family trust, or whatever it is that we're learning now as Black people, because right now financial literacy is the move with Black people now. What do you ever, the first question is, do you ever think about it? And number 2 is, if you would have done it, where do you think you would be?
Oh, man. I mean, like I said back then, man, you got to remember, I couldn't read or write. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Let's get that 100. But at the same time, when you start making money and you start dealing with the law, you know, and you know, that means lawyers now. You know what I mean? You go to court with a lawyer. Like, I got arrested one time. I ain't gonna get him for what it was, but I'm downtown, and the lawyer said, well, I'm gonna get here, one of the best in New York. He said, I'm gonna get you a bail, you know what I mean? But just bring 20,000 cash, you know what I mean? And whatever it is we paid, and I'll just give you back the balance. So my man brings the 20,000 cash down there, and I go in the courtroom, and the lawyer did so good, they didn't have no evidence. He broke it down on what they call the 8088 day. You know what I mean? He broke it down so good that they released me on ROR. You understand what I'm saying? So now, right there in the courtroom, when I walked out and me and my lawyer there and my man is there that brought the money down there, you know what I mean? When we went outside the courtroom, I went in the bag, I gave the lawyer 10 grand, you know what I mean, for his bonus, you know what I mean? And I gave my man that brought the money down, that helped me down for the few days while I was in the tombs, you know, the other 10 grand. You understand what I'm saying? And then now, when the lawyer peeped that, the lawyer said, yo, all that money you getting and you just giving it away, we need to invest it in something. You know what I mean? And that's when, you know, he said, well, what do you like to do? I said, well, I like music and clubs, you know what I mean? And partying. That's what I do. I party. He said, okay, so how do you feel about that? I said, man, I'm tired of going to other people's joints, because whenever I go, they never have enough liquor, and I'm buying out all the liquor, and then we ain't got no liquor to drink, and we got to go to the next club to buy out the liquor. You know what I mean? So then he said, well, why don't you just buy your own club? And that's how we came up with Club 2000.
Yeah, unique.
But the law will show you how to work it, just like, I'm going to let you come in, Gene, just like Jay-Z. I sit back and I read about Jay-Z with, what's his name, Rupert Murdoch, Rupert something, you know what I mean? Whoever is his mentor, you know what I mean? When you start getting that type of money, these people see you as Black, no disrespect, and ignorant or layman, whatever you want to call it.
100%.
And they come in and they tell you, look, I can show you how to do this and that with the money. And that's how I learned, because I'm a fast learner and I listen, and I was always open to suggestions. Like Gene put me on somebody with the movie deal that we're working out. You know what I mean? And they telling me, well, you could go this way, that way, but I think you should go this way. And they want to argue about, well, which way you want to go? I told them I want to go where the bag at. I'm open for whatever. Right or wrong, Gene?
You're right.
I told them I just want to get the bag.
And it's looking real good right now.
It's looking excellent. You know what I mean? But,
hey,
you know.
But unique, I want to say this because I want to ask a question before I go to. And I want to ask a question. I want to say, see, what happens is that we don't have the education that they give their kids to. Now, people are giving their kids financial information and things that they can do, investments and stuff like that. You know, because when I was coming through college, you know what I'm saying, and I was down in Chattanooga, I was one of the, he was the #1 sales representative for Dean Witter, right? This is 1985. I told him, I said, yo, I got $10,000. I just got $10,000. You understand? I was a good ball player, but I had got $10,000. He said, why don't you take $5,000 and put it into FedEx and take the other $5,000 and put it into AT&T. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna take my $5,000 to buy me a gold chain. You understand? I'm gonna buy me a gold chain. He told me that. Do you know if I'd have put that $5,000 into FedEx and AT&T, I'd be a multi-millionaire today?
Yes.
You understand? I'd be a multi-millionaire today. And I didn't do it. Yo, I'm saying that to say we don't have, and what we look at and what we do is far different than what they know and what they were taught.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You know what I'm saying? So now, Unique, I want to know this, man. I want to know this, Unique, is this. All the cars, all the girls, all the clothing, all the places you've been. You know what I'm saying? In your own words, to be home with your family and to be home with your family and not going to prison, would you have changed your life or not did that if you knew what was the outcome?
Okay, let me put it this way, right? Big shout out to my man Mike Dean. You know, Mike Dean from Jerry's Den up there on 143rd in Amsterdam. You know what I mean?
I haven't heard
Mike
that
Dean,
in a long time.
you already know. Mike Dean was the only one that told me. Mike Dean see me pull up in 8 different cars in one day at the barbershop. You know what I mean? We bring dudes up there to get a haircut at different times. And whenever I pulled up at the barbershop, you know, you had to call to make an appointment on the phone and all that because we didn't have the texting. We just had a beeper. You know what I mean? So you beep, you call or whatever. So I just text him and put the time I'm coming. And if he's cutting somebody here, he'll take his time to make it last a little longer, knowing that I'll be there at 3:30 if it's 3:20. So when I come in, he'd be like, oh, he had an appointment. And my man sit in the chair and I leave, go do what I gotta do and come back. But Mike said, yo, Unique, you come up here with a different car every 20 minutes with a different state license plate on it. Do you know that all of those states, because I'm hustling from New York all the way down to Atlanta, you know what I mean? And we had a house in Miami with cars, 3-4 cars in the garage in Miami. But every car, I'm rotating them in different spots. If I feel like driving up North Carolina, I drive it up. I tell somebody drive something else down. But Mike Dean said, do you know that they got something called a conspiracy law, that all they got to do is say they got the drugs from you, they could lock you up for the rest of your life? But he didn't know all the mechanics of it, and I didn't really care. So I was like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, back then, I figured I would have got maybe 5 years, 10 years. I could knock that out. You know what I mean? What, 7 years off of 10, 6 years off of 10. Worst case scenario, come home, still got my money, kids good, mom's good. Because I made sure moms had a house with swimming pool, jacuzzi, car, business.
But Unique, that's what the kids think today.
No, listen, I'm getting to that. I'm going to answer the question
today.
I got you.
And that's a fallacy.
Let me finish. Let me finish. But I'm letting the kids know that that's where my mentality was yesterday. Yesterday is 1992, 1993. You understand what I'm saying? But when them people grabbed me and put the cuffs on me and started yelling, we got a gas chamber for you in Virginia, started telling me that you're going to get life in jail. And I'm thinking, all I can get is 10 years. You understand? Then reality kick in, because Mike didn't know the mechanics of everything to tell me. He just told me to bear, you know, what he knew, that he saw a lot of people get locked up that used to come to the barbershop and caught conspiracy cases out of town. But now at my age, after about 15 years in jail, 12 years in prison, that's when I realized, man, I screwed up. None of this shit was worth it. And that's when I started putting the plan together that when I come home, I'm going to try and reach the youth. YouTube wasn't out yet. MySpace wasn't even out yet.
No,
it wasn't out yet.
Yo. The best sentence that you can state and put out there, none of this shit was worth it.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. But I had to paint the picture that I had it all. And I'm thinking I'm good. And I'm mollifying, meaning justifying to myself that I could do 10 years. I still have money. I'll still be young when I come home. But when that man hit the joint and said life, and you sit there looking like, what? And then he said, oh, let's not forget the money laundering for all the cars you had. 20 years on top of that. You understand what I'm saying? Now, even then, I wasn't paying no mind. I'm thinking my money gonna win with the appeal. I'll be out. Then I won my case, and then they never let me back into court. And then I met Guy Fisher and Underwood that was telling me, man, 20, 30 years gonna go by before you see the street, if you lucky. And when you keep doing what you're doing, you ain't never gonna see the streets, youngin. But I didn't want to hear that from them at the time. And I respect them brothers then, and I still respect them now. But I wasn't trying to hear it like a lot of the young brothers is not trying to hear it. But I have to let them know that I was where you at. I thought like you thought. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm telling you that it's not worth it. All my videos I do, no matter what story I tell, whether it's a gangster story, a prison story, Fatman Scoop or Vouch, I let them know that it wasn't worth it. And I'm telling them, if you think you're tough enough to be able to do that, just know the same way like you said that their parents teach the rich kids financial literacy, they also teach them that you're going to mess up because you're young. You're going to break the law and have contact with the law, but know that when you get picked up, you have the right to remain silent. In the hood, we just say shut the F up. So
Actual facts.
You got the right to remain silent, man.
Actual facts.
Because
brother,
that's
and let me just tell you something. Let me tell you something. Coming
brother,
from
I'm
the
going.
side.
Hold on. Brother, I'm going to catch y'all later. I got to go get my son. I'm going to catch y'all later. I love y'all. Listen, please listen to what they saying. I'm going to grab my son. I'll catch y'all later, brothers.
All right. Thank you, family. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Yeah.
Yo, let me just say this, Unique, is that in all that and what you're saying is so correct. But these kids out here today, they think that they smarter than a fifth grader. You get it?
Okay, Gene, let me say this, man. And that's why I did all that when you cut me off, because I know the kids understand what I'm saying. I thought I was smarter than a fifth grader because I was their age. I was in their mentality. This before I did a decade in prison. This before I did 2 decades in prison. This before I was pushing 3 decades in prison. I thought I was smarter than a fifth grader. So they think so, but they hearing it from a man that been there and done that. And they hear the passion in my voice. Ain't no faking in this. You got solid men like Gene and Scoop telling you who I am. You got the streets telling you who I am. And I'm telling you it wasn't worth it. You know what I mean? But it wasn't nobody like me back then that could get up here and talk to the masses of people to let them know that it wasn't worth it. So I'm not going to put the youth of today down to make them any less intelligent or whatever than I was, because I was just as dumb as y'all, man. Where I'm thinking that I'm smarter than the fifth grader, just like Gene said. Everything you said is right. But
what they don't understand is when you put that thing in, you have the right to shut up. You got to understand is that if you do something with somebody and a group of people that you work with, you know they may not feel the same way you feel and have the heart that you have, and they get in there and they say, yo, listen here, I ain't doing all this time. I seen gangsters, niggas that put other people's in their bodies in the ground, who was known in the streets, didn't want to go back for a parole violation and told everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm saying, but listen. We know that everyone is not cut from the same cloth, Gene. Exactly. You understand? So, I mean, I understand what you're saying because you're speaking from a man that's always been on the right side. You understand? I've been a criminal all my life because that's the way I was raised in the environment I was in. You was blessed to come up out of St. Louis to go to a college or go to high school and finish. Last grade I was in was 6th grade. You know what I mean? That I actually learned something. And the last thing I remember learning in 6th grade was how to play chess, because Miss Ruiz bought a chessboard and she bought 16 chessboards for the 32 kids that was in the class in Teaneck, New Jersey, and showed us what each pawn on the chessboard means. But me, from being on the street, going in herb gates to visit my family member on the weekends and things like that, and going to visit my cousins during the week in Brooklyn when they're selling heroin, I took the pieces on the chessboard and put them together and made me a drug empire.
But see, the thing about
it is, I didn't stay long enough to get an education to build what they call a Fortune 500. I'm just.
But what you did was unique, and this is what's happening to our kids: is that they articulate and be with people around. And if you around hustlers, you're gonna be a hustler. Come close to being a hustler. Mm-hmm. You understand? What I'm trying to tell people is that
whatever you want to be in life, you understand, get with the people that's gonna in that direction. If you want to be a mechanic, you got to go be with people who are mechanic. If you want to be a repairman, get to somebody who does repairs. If you want to be a doctor, you got to go to a school or be around people in that education that are going to help you be a doctor. In order to be what you want to be in life or do something positive, you got to be around like-minded, positive people. You understand? It's all right to get off the corner when dudes are doing the wrong thing and you say to yourself, man, I don't want to be like that. I'm not going to be out here. I'm not going to do that.
Okay, listen, man. Listen. Like I said, you know, I like this conversation because I respect Gene and Gene respect me. Gene is talking from a person with an educational background growing up. I'm talking from the education, from the street point of the young men that's out there that's not seeing lawyers, that's not seeing doctors. Gene, when I was growing up, if a dude wore a suit, if we saw our neighbor and he had on a two-piece suit, we laughed at him and called him a squid. And he might have been going to the courtroom as a lawyer, or he might have been going, you know what I mean, to work on Wall Street. But we called him a square because he's wearing a suit and he's not wearing Lee jeans and a Lee jacket. You understand what I'm saying? Or and an LL Cool J bucket hat.
Well, I already know that, bro. You know,
but I'm saying that. I'm saying that to say that the youth that's out there, everything you said is 100% right, and I agree with it. And that's what they need to do. You know what I mean? That's what they need to do. You understand what I'm saying?
But unique, not, and I'm cutting you off, I'm sorry about that, but you got to understand is that I saw the same shit you saw, but it's making a choice and it's saying to yourself that, listen to me, I'm not going to jail. I'm not giving my time up away from my family. You understand? I could tell you stories and you'll see in my book that I got caught up there. I got caught. Because it was the people I hung around with. Mm-hmm. It's the people that I was chilling with. And I said to myself, I'm not going to be around them no more. I'm not going to do the things that they do to get in that situation. And I want to tell the youth today that, listen to me, make the right choices by saying that you know when somebody's doing something wrong. You know what you see. You understand? Don't let that shit pressure you into being something that you can't handle or being somewhere that you don't want to be, in jail.
Gene, all that is 100% right is what I'm trying to tell you. And the people looking, they understand that we having the same conversation, but from two different minds and two different stances. What I'm trying to say is, me growing up, I never met a lawyer that lived in my neighborhood. I never met a doctor that lived in my neighborhood. I never even met a plumber. Let me finish. I never even met a plumber that lived in my neighborhood. I didn't even meet a garbage man because the way society was telling us back then is anybody that did legal work was a sucker, was a square. You understand what I'm saying? That's what was told in my little box that I was in. You was blessed to be in a different box. Now, like I said, I came out of New Jersey. You understand what I'm saying? They had a lot of doctors, lawyers, plumbers, and all that in New Jersey. But none of them was around me across my path for me to even get in it. Only thing came close to it, we had a guy named I think his name was Gibson, lived on the same street that I grew up on, Beaumont Avenue in Teaneck. And he was an electrician that whenever our little black and white TV broke, we carried it 2 houses down to him and he went and fixed it and bring it back. But we didn't have these people to look at for these role models. But now we have social media where they can see these role models. So these are the things, like I got a 10-year-old daughter, and all she do is watch YouTube, and she watch the Bill Nye, the science guy, the social study program, the writing program. These are the things that my daughter, God bless her, Juanita, is having my granddaughter watch. But then you have parents out there that got their kids watching the little kid with the gun talk about, I caught a body, I caught a body. So if a kid at 9 years old is hearing that, to look up to that, because that's where his guardians is guiding him with his little fragile mentality. You understand what I'm saying? That's where he's going to go. But everything you said is right, and they need to do exactly what you said. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I'm saying this for the people, for the parents that's watching this, to know that you're responsible for the growth and development of your child.
Always. And then and to say that and to piggyback on that right now, you know what I'm saying? Parents got to take responsibility of what their kids listen to. I'm on the internet and I see these people letting their little kids listen to drill music.
Yeah.
What you listen to, what you hear, and what you speak is what you are.
Mm-hmm.
You become that. You understand? And then when the little baby listen to the drill music, they turn it off and he say, fuck. They all look at him and start laughing. You understand? You're teaching him something that you don't want him to be.
Listen, a child from he's born, his mind is like an empty sponge. And he's only going to absorb the liquid, which is the knowledge you put in it. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm blessed to have a beautiful daughter that's raising my granddaughter and my grandson to stay watching the children's. I didn't even know they had the programs. When I go over there to babysit and I see my granddaughter watching all this stuff, and she asks me, "Daddy, granddaddy, you know what a aardvark is? You know what the purpose of an aardvark is? Or you know where electricity came from? Or you know this?" She asking me all these questions. I'm like, "How the hell you know all that?" And she start laughing. "You too, Daddy." You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I'm up here telling goddamn prison stories and my granddaughter watching science stories. So that's a blessing. You know what I mean? But Gene hit it on the nose, man. Surround yourself with positive people. And that's why my channel, I don't put up no negativity. I don't talk about nobody. I don't care about who told, who did what. You know, Allah gonna judge you. God.
I'm gonna talk about some niggas, man. I hear what you said. But on the Gene Deal show, I'm gonna talk about some niggas because niggas need to be talked about, because what happens is they guiding people in the wrong direction. And I'm here to redirect or tell people, listen to me, man. Don't believe everything that you hear, or don't believe everything that you see. You know what I'm saying? These guys are they showing one good tree in the whole forest. You understand? They showing one good tree in the whole forest. If it's only one good tree in that whole forest, the forest is fucked up. Mm-hmm. And it should be known. Now, I'm taking the direction because I was there. You understand? Not only being in the streets, I heard some of the music stuff in the music industry. You understand? Being security for one of the top guys from the prison system, Chaz Williams, who started Black Hands. You understand? You mentioned Black Hands early.
Yeah, Black Hands. Yeah, Chaz, yeah.
Yeah. Being head of his security, you understand? Doing a lot of shit and being privy to a lot of shit on the streets here in New York. You understand? When these guys are coming out here, changing the stories, being felonious about their life, and misguiding the youth, misguiding the people, you understand? Trying to make their story different and bigger than what it is, I'm going to check it. I'm going to check it. Because you know why? You understand? Because they leading people in a felonious atmosphere that will make those people think that they are right and they can do it the same way they do it, and it don't happen like that, bro.
No, yeah, exactly. We know that, but now we have all these different means of technology to reach the youth. You know what I mean? Like I said, I just try and push the positive, but at the same time, I have to let them know the negative. Ron Boggs had a question up there, if you can find it, where he was asking about the hustling or something like that. The way this thing went back then, Gene, man, in the hood, in New York City, you know what I mean? That everybody in the neighborhood, see, people back then, people back then, not many, was thinking nothing other than hustling. But that's the point. Everybody, all we thought about was how to make $1, whether it was to go steal a pair of sweatpants from the Army Navy store or be a lookout for the corner drug dealer because you're 9 or 10 and all you got to do is yell AO when you see the police.
But Unique, I can't let you tell that story like that, brother. Everybody wasn't thinking like that.
I never said everybody. I'm saying that that's what was in my neighborhood that I saw, right. And the majority of my people saw.
A lot of people, you know, I came to Harlem in 82. You understand? I officially started living in Harlem in 86. You understand? Now, it's a lot of groups. It was places like the Reeland Foundation Manhattan Valley Youth Program. It was a lot of programs that were educating kids and trying to get kids off the street. These buildings was decapitated, messed up, and they didn't start fixing them shits until after the World Trade Center blew up. You understand what I'm saying? When you was away, they start all those same buildings that you used to see that was decapitated and all messed up. They didn't start fixing them shits up until the World Trade Center got blew up.
Okay.
Now,
go ahead, finish.
Now, you understand, they had programs and they had people out here that was trying to educate shit. You know, DGCCTV. I'm from Wellston. You understand? No, it wasn't lawyers. It wasn't doctors there. There were people that still worked hard. People were working for Chrysler. People were working for Monsanto. People were working for Lever Brothers. I seen them people go to work and come home. But what I'm trying to tell you is this. You understand? Is that if you deal with people with like-mindeds, if you see people that's got good jobs, you understand? And I know what that shit could do to you. I just heard and told you, say, I was a victim of it. I worked 3 jobs to wear the gold chains and drive a BMW. You understand? And to be seen like that. You understand?
Okay, Gene, listen. I'm just keeping it 100. So, you know, they could call me ignorant, whatever. Every name that you just said for those youth programs, I've never heard of, my brother. I never heard of none of that. And I'm from New York. I don't know what program. Listen, I don't know.
The key word was this, Unique. You didn't want to hear it, and you wasn't around people. You started off the sentence, you said, and you told on yourself, Unique.
Yeah, I'm just telling the truth. It ain't telling on myself.
But you told on yourself. You understand? It was the truth. You said Gene tried to talk to me, but I wasn't hearing that shit.
And I said that Michael Dean, I spoke on him too.
Right.
But what I'm saying, but listen, no one told me they had no programs for nothing. I didn't know. I'm just saying I didn't know nothing about that.
You didn't want to hear it. And that's
no. Listen, I didn't want to hear it. I said that. Listen, I said that on Queen's Flip from I came out of prison, brother.
Right.
I even said that I'm trying to talk to the youth that they probably ain't trying to hear it because I wasn't trying to hear it back then.
Exactly.
So we don't need to go back and forth with that. I'm just letting you know that I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't care nothing about that. Like Ron Boog said, all I knew was to get a hustle because that's what was in front of me. That's all I'm speaking about.
Was around
like-minded. I agree with everything you said.
You was around like-minded people like you. You were dealing with people like you that was about the dollar, was about the hustling, about the making the money, the fast way, the quick way, the way that you thought it was, which you was putting your life on the line, you was putting your freedom on the line.
Exactly.
You understand? And everybody around you. So my whole thing about it is what I'm trying to get the youth to see is that, listen to me, man. You can hear these guys tell their stories, and they great stories, and their situations, but don't let these be your stories. Don't think that you can get away with it like they got away with it. You walking out of prison after risking your life on the street, risking your life in prison. Your life was just like mine. Listen to me. Like I told my daughter, every time I went to work to put food on the table, every time I went to work to buy y'all clothes and shit, like I'm risking my life. I'm working in law enforcement. I'm risking my life. If I go to these clubs, the way these niggas act, and I'm holding down security at the club, I'm risking my life. You risking your life the same way. You understand? But it's nothing glorifying, and you don't try to glorify that shit, and I'm proud of you of that. You understand? And I understand what you're doing, but these youth and these kids got to understand you might not be as lucky as a Unique. Because today, when you standing right here,
and that's the point right here. But that's the point that I'm making. I just told you, and I'll say it again, because maybe you're used to people disagreeing. I agree with you 100% on every word that came out your mouth. Let me say that. But I'm just letting you know that the majority of the people in the environments that I was raised in, they didn't care nothing about that. Nobody told me go to school. Not one person told me to go to school. You understand what I'm saying? Not that I would have anyway. Let me say that for the record, because I didn't want to hear it, like I said. But the point I'm making is I'm sitting here talking to over 300 people right now that is showing up, and it's probably more than that because it's going through StreamYard. If one person hear what I'm saying, then alhamdulillah, my mission is accomplished. You understand? Because I'm trying. You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying. That's all I could do.
And listen to me, man. From where I seen you back then, and to where I see you at today, it's a totally different person. And I could stand right here through the test of time and say, I am very proud of you. I never made a dime, and you never gave me a dime on the street. You understand?
Except when you robbed me for putting my name on the flyer.
We did each other.
All right.
Another name on the flyers. You know what I'm saying?
You already know.
Yo, the crazy shit is about it is this, is that I didn't know. I thought you was never coming home.
And so did a lot of people.
I thought you was never coming home. And I could have said, F unique.
Exactly, but you never did.
And I stood and I know niggas you bought cars for, jewelry, put them in houses and apartments and stuff like that. And I would ask them about you. Yo, you know where Unique at? Can you get in touch with him? Here go my number. Make sure you got my number wherever you at and stuff like that. And whenever you call, you understand, I don't know what somebody else did for you, what they didn't do. I didn't care. I know you was a good brother. You understand? And if you had the potential, you could pack a club where it looked like a Tarzan movie. If you had the respect that you had on the streets, I knew if one day, which I didn't know you was ever coming out, one day if I would see you alive again, we'd be as brothers and we could do something positive for the community and for the people.
And that's what we're doing today. And that's what I want the people to understand. Like he said, listen, man, all I speak is my truth. I was a dumb nigga, just like a lot of dumb niggas is watching us now, that think that they smarter than a fifth grader, like Gene said earlier. I'm one of them dumb niggas that thought I was smarter than a fifth grader. So I understand how the brothers feel that's looking at this. But I'm just letting you know, like Gene asked a question, that I'm not proud of nothing I did. I bought my mother a big house in Miami with swimming pool, jacuzzi, fence around it, 2-car garage, remote control, bought a business, everything. And when I went to prison and I got my GED in ADX Supermax, being locked down 23 hours a day for 4.5 years, and I sent that GED home to my mother, she cried on the phone for that whole 15 minutes they gave me to use the phone for the month and told me, baby, this means more to me than everything you ever given me. You're finally on the right path. She's 87, and she said, baby, I'm not going to leave this earth until you come home. And I came home. The first thing I did, go see my mother. You know what I mean? We just moved her up here to New Jersey where she comfortable. She 87. She bedridden. And when I go visit her in Florida or in New Jersey, wherever I go, I get in that goddamn bed with my mama. Because I'm a mama's boy till I die. And mama tried to tell me the same thing, but like Gene said, I wasn't trying to hear it because the streets wasn't telling me that. That's why here I go, a brother from the streets, and I'm telling you it wasn't worth it. And like Gene said, be around like-minded people that have something positive to offer that can elevate you and keep you out of prison. Because I had knives this goddamn big in prison. You understand what I'm saying? And I seen dudes get stabbed and murdered with knives that big. Right. You don't know what it's like to be in the prison talking to your homie, and then all you hear is keys shaking and woo, 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 and everybody running, and you trying to find out what's going on, and you see a knife swinging over here, a knife swinging over there, and this ain't got nothing to do with you. And all you trying to do is get to the law library. And then now you got to pull out your knife to defend yourself so you can get to the law library to get home to mama that's waiting. So if you want to put yourself in that situation, that's why I say, if you want to do that, you just know that you have the right to remain silent. But I'm telling you, don't get involved so you don't have to make that choice.
Unique, I don't want to get this shit up, but I'm going to give it to you on your show. Right? At the age of 15, and I said this a little bit on my show, but like that, I think I was 14, 15 years old. A teacher lied on me. Said that I put the teacher's lounge on fire, and I tried to trap the kids in the lunchroom. So they charged me, right? They charged me, and I went to Clayton Detention Center for a couple of months. Then after that, you know, just quick story, real short. I end up at Midland. It was like a school, 600 school. You know, here in New York, they had those 600 schools for all bad people and shit like that. Yo, assistant principal, guard / whatever, grabbed me by the neck and choked me till I pissed on myself. You understand? If you ever been choked that fucking bad, you know what I'm talking about. You know, when you start releasing shit, you could almost die.
Your bowels give in, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he choked me that bad. I wanted to go, and I had a 410 at the age of 14, 15 years old. My uncle gave me a 410. You understand? Nathaniel. Nate gave me a 410. He was hustling in the streets in Wellston, Missouri. I want to go back and blow this white motherfucking ass clear on out of here. You understand what I'm saying? And I brought the gun to school and I had it outside. I said, when this motherfucker goes to his car, I'm going to shoot him in his back. You understand what I'm saying? But something hit me and I decided not to do it. You understand? And I decided to change my life. From that point on, I worked myself out of that 600 school. You understand?
Okay, let me give you my testimony. Let me give you my testimony so you understand how our path was different.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Oh, you're not finished? Excuse me. Go ahead, finish. My bad.
Yeah. And look, Corey McCullough, the 600 schools is like jail. I worked my way out of there. I was a good basketball player. And that saved me because I started just messing around with dudes who were going to school playing ball. And that's what I did. You understand? I played ball and I studied. You understand? I wasn't a good student, but I had a good fucking memory. And I memorized everything so I could pass. You understand? That helped me change my life. You understand? That helped me change my life. I'm saying this to say this to these kids. And you are right. You understand? If you ain't around people with the same like minds, the same ideals, you understand, that you want to do, you understand, that what you want to be. And if you ain't around no motherfucker, you around here on this internet, y'all got it blessing. Y'all on this internet. Y'all can find people that want to do the same shit that you do. You understand? We didn't have that. You understand? We had to, for any information, we had to walk into the library, and the library was closing at 8, 9 o'clock. You understand? And all we had was the books. Y'all got it right here in your phone. Y'all got it right here on the computers. Use this shit to be around people with like-minded so you can be whatever you want to be. And if you don't know what you want to be, try a whole lot of shit outside of the criminal element that try to get you to be something or somewhere.
All right, let me say this. Right? The same way you said the teacher choked you. I went to a school in Teaneck on Teaneck Road called Thomas Jefferson Junior High School out in New Jersey.
Right? I know what you're talking about.
Okay, I was in 7th grade. My math teacher, like I said, I don't say names. My math teacher was a white lady that rode a motorcycle to school, lived in Bergenfield where the rink is at. She came to school. I didn't want to hear nothing. When the class got too noisy, because I'm high as hell in class, I don't want to hear nothing. So when they start making noise, I slam my hand on the table and I tell them, shut the F up. And everybody got quiet, and she liked that I had respect for the class. She could look at me because I'm sitting in the front of the class. I'm high as hell. You know what I mean? She came to me after the class left. She said, Wayne, you know, that was what they're calling me that. Wayne, could you wait back? So I waited back. And she said, I don't know what you be smoking, you know what I mean? But you be high as hell in my class. Could I please get a joint? I forgot to bring my weed today. And this is out in one of the richest counties in Bergen County. And this is how a teacher came to me to ask me for a joint in 7th grade. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I can tell you that school ain't like
that.
that no more. It ain't been like that for a long
Now,
time.
when we talking about that, let me finish like I let you finish. The point being is, when she did that, she told me, you ain't got to worry about doing nothing in here. I'm going to pass you. Just make sure I get some weed. And every day I went in there, I went up there and I put my math book on the table and I left it up there and there was some weed in the math book.
That's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? So this was the encouragement I had for education. And then when I got to Teaneck High School, because they passed me every year as they promised. You know what I mean? When I got to Teaneck High School, it was a black teacher there that was down with a Sada Shakur, right? She had a little afro, had a little twist, like the little dreadlocks, and was wearing the African garb and all that. And this is in a rich Jewish town.
Mm-hmm.
That lady seen me in the class, and I think she was teaching social studies. And I knew everything about what she was telling, because from being on the street as a 5%er, being with the older guys here and about knowledge, wisdom, understanding, born in culture, freedom, you understand? Born in equality, you know, to God, you know, to build and destroy, to be a born to have a complete cipher. I memorized all that from the older kids, and then they went through the 1 to 20 lessons, and I learned about Christopher Columbus, Yakub, and everything else, and about Europe, the U, and the rope put together is Europe, and that's where, you know, the P-line is at. That's where, you know, Yakub came from to create the white man from the genes of the, you know what I mean? And we came from millions of atoms in the universe. I knew all of that. So when it came to that social studies class, I knew everything in the class. And then the lady asked me to read something in the book that she gave us. And I looked at that lady and I said, no, I'm good. And she said, no, I want you to read. You know what I mean? You read from, because she was calling on everybody to read. And when it was my turn to read, I couldn't read. And I got up, slammed the book, and walked out the class. She didn't come after me. She didn't say nothing. The next day when I came into class, we sat down. She asked everybody to read except for me. And then when everybody left, she had me to stay behind like the lady that asked for the joint. And she said, look, these white people out here don't care nothing about you. They passed you all the way up to the 10th grade and you can't even read. I said, what do you mean I can't read? I can read. I just didn't want to read. She said, no, I know you can't read. You know what I mean? She said, I see the way you got straight A's in classes that you don't even attend here in high school. So I know you don't know how to read. She's like, they screwed your life up. You need to really settle down and get your education. And she tried to talk to me, but being that she found out my secret that I couldn't read, I couldn't even face this woman no more. Wow. I used to have females that be at my house and I get my 5% lessons and I tell them, yo, I can't believe they said this. Yo, read this joint out loud. Because I couldn't read it. Wow. And I wanted to hear the lesson.
Hold on one second. We have been for 2 hours. Just hold on 1 second, okay?
Okay, so Gene gonna tap out. But like I said, he coming back. Yo, this joint is nothing nice, man. I'm talking to the youth. I'm letting you know it wasn't worth it. I was just like you. I know where you at. I'm not gonna let nobody badmouth you or bash you. Talk about drill music. I'm gonna defend all of that because ain't nobody saying nothing about Scarface that I grew up on to become a kingpin. Ain't nobody saying nothing about Goodfellas. You understand? Ain't nobody saying nothing about Godfather. But as soon as a minority come up with a way to make $1 in the entertainment business, now he's dead wrong and he's poisoning the community. He's doing this, he's doing that. But what about these movies that turned me into this gangster? Who's gonna hold them responsible? You understand what I'm saying? So y'all saying, talking about drill music, you feeding into what the media is saying. Those are young men with talent. Your parents got to tell you and explain to you what it is you're listening to, what it is you watching on YouTube, and try and prevent you from watching the wrong things. But if you want to listen to drill music that's talking about shooting the ops and this and that, that's cool. But you need somebody around you to explain to you that that's entertainment. That's it. That's not nothing for you to go out there and act out in real life about. You don't do that. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. So, you know, Gene, go ahead.
It's not cool. It's not cool.
And you're supposed to say that.
It's not cool. It's not cool because the thing about
what's not cool, G?
It's not cool for people to think that you got to explain to somebody what drill music is about. And what drill music is anything that comes out your mouth, it says it spiritually. Say it by mouth, believe it in thy heart. The times that we in right now, people don't believe in the celestial concept of what this universe is faced with right now. You understand? And that this is the days of Aquarius. You understand? Whereas what you say can be manifest, you understand, into real life. What you hear, what you view, what you look at. You understand? The time's about to change.
Gene, listen. The brother up there, put that last comment back up there so you understand. Put that comment up there. This is a brother that came out publicly, whether we know who it is or not, we just know him as 1967 kid. He said he never got the help in 9th grade, and today at 55 years old, he's learning how to read and write. Meaning from him hearing my testimony, he's tapping into himself and he's proud to admit that he couldn't read or write. Where I stabbed people in prison when they found out I couldn't read, to let them know you better not tell nobody. You understand what I'm saying? So right. I'm saying all that to say that you're saying what come out your mouth, this and that. But don't forget, I was in prison and I watched from during the Clinton era. I remember when Ellen DeGeneres first gave the first kiss on her show. So we saw where it was going. They fired her from that show for that. But then at that same time, they started doing the parental guidance on the TV programs. You know what I mean? That they got to say PG-14, PG-G. You know what I mean? And mature audience. I say all that to say because the government is even telling the parents, when you look at the TV, it's going to say it on there the same way it says MAE for Mecca audio on the right. It's going to tell you what age group that's for. So if you let your child watch that, or you need to sit down and explain to him what it is he's watching so he knows what he's watching. You don't take it that because, let me finish 1 second, I'm going to let you air me out. I love when you air me out, so I'm not going to smoke.
I'm not airing you out, brother.
No, listen, I don't need, listen, I respect you from day one when I met you because you always spoke your mind. I don't need a yes man.
Yeah. I'm just telling you know I'm far from that. And that's
I know that. No, that's why I'm letting you know that I love the people watching would think you air me out, but it's how men talk. But anyway, the point that I'm getting is that they put those things up there. So if a kid want to watch a TV show and it got a rated PG-14 and the kid is 10 years old, the parent is supposed to watch that show and see if there's any content in there that they don't want their kid to know. That's why they put those parental guidance on the TV programs. I remember when they didn't have none of that. You know what I mean? Now they got to rate the movies rated on. The more money you got depends what rating they make the movie. But I'm getting to the point that I'm making with this is that you saying that whatever is said out your mouth, you got a 14-year-old watching Scarface or watching Goodfellas or what's that, Paid in Full or Belly. You know what I mean? And there's nobody to tell them that that's just entertainment. You know what I mean? Then they're going to think that that's how life is. So you can't look at it and say they're supposed to know what they're looking at. No, that's why they put those parental guidance on the TV program, because they know we're dealing with a child mind. You know what I mean? Now, right. Crown King 97 said, drill music isn't entertainment. These youngins is dying from their drill lyrics in real time. This is a different era. I fully understand that, and I'm seeing that, and I'm learning that. But what I'm saying is we have to let them know that it is entertainment. You know what I mean? That it is entertainment. We have to tell them. And that's why I'm telling them that instead of saying, oh, drill music is this and that. No, this is a means that they have to make money. Scarface wasn't all that. They protested when Ellen DeGeneres, like I said, kissed a woman on her show, on the Sybil. You know what I mean? They protested. I mean, they didn't protest when they had Goodfellas and none of that. But they protested when Belly came out. When Belly came out, Magic Johnson said he wasn't going to put it in his movie theaters. But he didn't say nothing about putting Goodfellas in his movie theater. But he didn't want to put Belly in there because Hype Williams did it, who's black, and DMX is in it, who's black. Nas is in it, who's black. So the white people didn't want that to compete with them. So they use him as a tool to say, don't put it in your movie theater. And then all these good old civilian parents said, yeah, we can't let them watch Belly. But yet you got them watching Goodfellas.
The thing about it is that
is that when people are educated in a different manner, and saying, if our kids knew the greatness of who we are and what they took from us, and they were taught that in school, they still tried to, up until the last 10 years, they still tried to tell us that Columbus is the one who
They discovered
America.
Yeah.
You understand? See, it's all this bullshit that they put into our education system to demeanor to demeanor us as individuals and have us feeling less of ourselves. Yo, brother, you understand? We still got people, you understand? And no matter how educated they get or how much money they get, still wearing niggas Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, Gucci. They want to wear all this shit with these people names on it because they feel less of themselves. You understand what I'm saying? They feel less of themselves. We have to understand this, that we have to re-educate ourselves and be know what's in the books. You know, get different books now. We have to get our people. We have not yet had somebody who wrote a real history book. Don't you know all the books of education come out of Texas, one of the racist states, you understand, who now putting slaves in their books as being happy. You understand? Like they was just forming and shit. Hold on, let me just finish this thought right quick. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you is this, is that the shit that happens to us, that they put on us, our kids are not able to manifest that as just being a just movie, just being entertainment. You understand? They talking about killing, and when I see this op, I'm gonna shoot them dead and everything like that. And they putting that to the young kids. You understand? Yo, dog, we came up and we thought about going to a party, having fun, getting the honey, making love, or having sex, whatever you want to call it, having a good time, partying. They talk about they going to a party to kill somebody. They going to a party to beat some nigga down. They want to manifest that and have an attitude like that and put that out into the universe to make that shit come true. This is where they want us to be. We're the only community that allows that, brother. We're the only community that allows that.
Listen, so they understand everything you said. This brother here, his comment said, you telling people it's a problem being a working class in Amazon. No one said none of that, man.
Who said that?
Look on the screen. I'm just trying to show you.
He out his mind. Nobody said that shit.
You understand what I'm saying?
I just told that nigga I worked 3 jobs.
You know, and I was just saying that they didn't have working class people for me to look up to, but I agreed with Gene 100% with no ands, ifs, or buts about it, that we need to surround ourselves with like-minded people that have a positive goal, and that's what this channel is about. If you could get a job, listen, I was in prison. I'm going to do a video on that. Gene, in prison, dudes get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. The police wake them up. They clear count at like 4:30, and they got to be in the kitchen by 5 o'clock, and they don't get out the kitchen until 7:30 at night, and they get $5 for the month. And then when they get released, they come right back to jail after they work from 4:30 every morning, waking up at 3 o'clock, coming back at 7:30 for $5 a month. They'll sit there and they'll ask their boss for a bonus, and the boss will give them $2 to make it $7 so they could buy a bar of soap along with some stamps or some weed. You know what I mean? Now,
and they rather do that, Unique. They rather do that to get a minimum wage job until they can do better.
No, but that's what I'm getting at. Then those same people that was doing that, they go home and I'm doing life, and then they come back into prison within 2 weeks after going home and say, man, they tried to tell me I had to work at McDonald's. I could never work at McDonald's. You worked in a prison kitchen for $5. What was McDonald's paying you? $10 an hour? Yeah, but I'm not working on McDonald's. You know what I mean? You know, people got to want to have themselves got to want to be themselves and not try to mimic others. But they can mimic others, but they need to mimic people like Gene Deal is describing and like what I'm telling you I am today. But I was just like the youth of today, yesterday.
But Ron Bowles got to know. He got to know if you mimicking somebody that's positive and doing something positive, you will be positive.
Exactly.
Don't mimic the wrong person.
Listen, man, Gene, every time I went to the dealer with a shoebox and caught me a new Mercedes or a new BMW, you know what I mean, or a twin turbo Z or a Mazda minivan or a new Dapper Dan outfit, all the neighborhood said was, that shit is hot to death. What you gonna get next? Not then you're throwing penitentiary rocks at the joint. Nobody said that. You understand what I'm saying? So they encourage us to do wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I'm up here and Gene is up here and Fatman Scoop was up here. We trying to encourage you to do right. You understand? We ain't telling you nothing negative. We ain't telling nobody to go out there and do nothing crazy. You understand? Ron Boogs that's up there, he know me from the street. Yo, you got dudes that sat on the corner and say, damn, I wonder what Unique gonna come through driving today. You know what I mean? Dudes that say, man, and then you got dudes that sit there and say, whatever it is, the rims is probably whack. I don't like the rims he be having on the car. But they don't even have a token to take a train.
Yeah.
But they talk about my rims on my car that cost $10,000. But they want to sit there and talk about the next person. You understand? And I had dudes on this show, Gene, that came up on my program when I did my Instagram live. I had a brother that came up from South Carolina that was up here, and I forgot his name, but he remembered when he was like 11 years old, and he pulled up on me on the corner, and he was looking at my green and white twin turbo with the emerald green seats, with the white steering wheels and the BBS. So you already
I remember.
all right.
Very well.
Now the kid came looking at me, talking about how nice the car was. Say, man, I love to get a ride in that. I said, man, come on. I took the kid in the car. I drove him to 25th Street. I saw his sneakers was a little, ruffled. So I took him right over there to Kevin Child's Boss Sneakers, and I bought him a couple pair of sneakers, bought him a couple of outfits, and I took him back uptown. I put some money in his pocket, and I said, look, don't never look at what I'm doing. And he told me, he reminded me of this story. I said, don't never look at what I'm doing as the right thing. This is just all I know how to do. Big shout out to Mac Mean. What up, family? That good. Hey, Mac Mean, come in the program real quick, because Gene getting ready to tap out. You know what I mean? Because that's another intelligent brother, Gene, that I met when I was on the show with Hassan, 10 Toes Down, and 050, another good brother. I met some good brothers when I got up on one of them shows trying to mediate what they was going through. Put the link in there for Mac Mean. And I met this brother. And this brother has got all this positive program going where he's starting adult GED programs where he getting teachers to teach adults like me that didn't know how to read to learn how to read. You understand? So, I mean, I reach out to the good brothers. So make sure y'all check out his channel, man. Mac Mean, come up here, big brother, so you can tell them what your TV is. Maybe it's Mac Mean TV, I think it is. But that's a good, intelligent brother, and I want to pull up on him and meet him in person because I love what he's doing. I'm with anybody trying to do the right thing. Get on your platform. I don't care if you got 1,000 people like Mac Mean or if you got one person. You know what I mean? But this is a brother right here I want to introduce you to if you don't know him. This is one of the YouTube brothers that's doing the right thing, Gene. I respect this man. You know what I mean? Mac Mean, tell him who you are. That's my brother Gene right there, man.
Salute, Gene. Salute, Mecca.
What up, Playboy?
Well, I got a channel. I started like my first like stories I used to do was like transitional, like coming from jail because I had a 20-year sentence. I did 11 years. Came out doing the jail stories at first, but then it started turning into like me teaching dudes game about like crypto and trading and stuff like that, how to get like a expungement on your case or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we also fight, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know what I mean, the street shit, we go back and forth as brothers or whatever. I call that shit gate banging, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I just be trying to show dudes how to make money and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And tell them about the educational programs you got going on.
Oh, we got a program. Well, me and this, we got a brother named Jamel Saladin. He started an online school, basically, you know what I mean, where you don't have to have like a degree in order to be qualified to teach a class. Let's just say, like, for instance, I know how to fix your YouTube channel up, that, or get you monetized, take you from like ground zero of having no subscribers into getting a check after like 3 months. So that's like an example of a class. Or we have a class where, we have people that teach you how to get a book published or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically it's like a grassroots approach to teaching, you know what I'm saying? And we got that. I got a gardening program over here. I'm in Cincinnati. I'm originally from New York, but I got the gardening program down here where, you teach dudes from the hood how to grow their own food. I've been doing this for about 10 years, you know what I mean? Growing my own stuff, jarring food up. And I just got an eye for it. And the last thing I got going on, I'm a candidate for the disparagement license in New York. So we're in the process of building a dispensary up in New York too. So.
Right.
And I want to give a shout out to Q Butter. That's another good brother that I met that night. Q Butter. They got some good brothers out there, got good programs. Mac, you see my program, you see what we talking about. We talk about the street, we talk about prison, but we letting them know it's not worth it, and we tell them not to go. Gene, dig it in my ass, but that's what Gene do.
No homo, stop that bullshit.
No homo. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Me and Gene get on me. You understand what I'm saying?
But the best way to teach is through example. Like, I'm gonna just show you something. Like, when I first got out here to Ohio, maybe about 6 years ago, right? Where I live at we like right in the middle of like the gentrification period. So me seeing it happen in Harlem, we living on 140th, paying about $750 for a 3-bedroom, and then within 2 years that doubled up. You know what I'm saying? So I seen the game early or whatever. Being here in Cincinnati, there's only 300,000 people here. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to get noticed as opposed to being like in New York where the population is real bigger. So what happened was I started going like the little neighborhoods and taking I'll take a tree that dogs is shitting on and it's all fucked up and you know what I mean? I'll take the tree, I'll block the tree off, put new soil up in there, and next thing you know, in the summer, shit is growing up. And white people start seeing that shit, you know what I'm saying, seeing me do it. So they start putting money behind us getting different spaces so we could grow bigger, programs or whatever. That right there got the dudes like in the hood, the regular dudes walking in pit bulls and shit like that, respecting the neighborhood a little bit more, and they see you do it. So now, now they run down on me like, yo, New York, yo, man, I got my garden start, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a start to like, you got to think about the food prices and stuff like that. Shit is just going up. If you could grow your own vegetables, jar your shit up and start a company, that shit is great, especially if you're making baby food.
Mm-hmm.
But Mac, you know what? This is nothing to prove my point, but what you just said, you know what I'm saying? You began to educate brothers by doing it yourself, and it became where like-minded, like ideals, and they start changing their own self because they saw something different. You understand? What happens is that we have to show these kids something different, something positive. You understand? If they growing up with what's the video game? He jumps out, beat the girl. Grand Theft Auto. If they growing up with all these music videos and these rappers talking about our women are bitches and hoes, and they want to slam Cadillac doors. You understand? If they growing up saying that I gotta have on the Balenciaga, and this chick is talking about I can't get none unless I get her a Birkin bag. You understand? If this is what our kids is hearing, if this is what our kids are seeing, understand? And we don't have these people in certain situations to show them better, to show them something different, they all gonna be stuck in that same thing. The people that we help make it by listening to their music or they not giving back. You understand? Because you come back and you go to the block, get some turkeys out. You go to the block and get some food out that one time. That's not giving back. Giving back is educating somebody to help them. Because the thing of it is that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Hey,
that
Jay,
goes, huh?
I wanted to say something about that, right? You know what I noticed? Like with younger cats, when you make it look cool, they with the shit. If you make
Always.
if you make it look good, they automatically want in. They see women around you supporting what you do. They see some money around you, and especially if you give them responsibility. The first kids that got attracted to the program, what I did was pay them $50 a week just to look at the garden 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? You already on the block. Just go check the plants out. This is what you're looking for. If the leaves is curling up, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end or whatever, holler at me. You know, put the responsibility in their hand. And also, like you said, like if you show them that example and you make that shit look cool, they automatically gonna follow suit. You just got
And that's all. And what we got to do is that we got enough money. We got guys out here that got enough money. To write a good history book to tell a true story of where we at and how we got here and what's going on. You understand? To tell a true story. We have enough money out here. You understand that these guys, instead of buying 15, 20 cars, buying all these Rolex watches, and I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of having these watches, this jewelry, the whole 9 yards. But I still said, I'm going to teach these guys how to take care of their family for the rest of their life. And I got grown men that had cried in front of me because I taught them and I showed them. And we need enough people like all of us to say, yo, we can make a difference, like you say, Unique, if that one person get it. And one person get it.
And that's all, you know?
Each one teach one.
Yeah, look, let me say this about piggybacking off what you said about the history books. When we was growing up, Gene, Mac Me might be a little young, so he might not know about this, but I'm sure he's seen it because he's one of those intelligent brothers with knowledge himself. But when we was growing up, they had the best TV program, and every jail and like I said, when I tell my jail stories, read the comments. There's people that tap in that was in the prisons with me that know ain't no fabrication. It might sound wild as you want it to sound, but it's real. And I'm going to start bringing them up here. I'm going to bring some official Crip dudes up here, you know what I mean, from Rolling 60s and all that, you know what I mean, that talk like we talk, Gene, about trying to save the youth. You understand what I'm saying? That they know is reputable in California, so when they speak, they know they reputable. But I say this to say, every jail that I was in, they got what they call a recreation center where they got music. They might get Jay-Z tapes and Foxy Brown tapes and all of this and go get movies and VHSs on the DVDs in the jail. But there's only one program I make sure every jail that I was ever in had before I left. And that was a promise I made to my mother. That was the movie Roots. The movie Roots wasn't in no jail. A lot of the kids never even seen Roots. That's one of the movies that they did, like you already know, Gene, back in the day, like they did with Sister Soldier's album, how Warner Brothers brought it to shelf it so it would never get out because her message was too strong. They don't want us to see Roots because Roots was a pure depiction of the slave times and how they treated us. But they want us to look at it like they have never done nothing wrong and we should be dependent upon them and everything is cool. But I'm telling all y'all now, get the movie for your children to watch, and y'all watch if you didn't see as adults, called Roots by Alex Haley. Watch that movie. When you see them putting that whip on a man's back and how many niggas they call him, you'll stop talking about me saying, nah, I mean. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry to bust your bubble on that, which the movie was fabricated and it wasn't written by Alex Haley.
Well, whatever you want to call it, what they put on that screen was enough to wake me up to know what slavery was. My mother made me watch that. When that came on,
it was 10 times worse than that.
Nah, I'm sure it is. You're not gonna catch everything in the movie, but the message came across with me.
A lot of they so hot. The reason that they technology got good in medicine because they could practice on black people. You understand? People don't understand that. They took those black bodies and they used them for example. We was the test tube dummies.
Ran out of time.
You understand? It wasn't animals. It was black people.
You
understand?
I heard that a lot of the pills and shit that we was getting in jail was like experimental
Yeah,
pills.
psychedelic drugs, exactly.
Right.
Like they
You know?
don't give you like that ibuprofen and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like for every tiny thing. You know what I mean? Like I heard all that shit was experimental, like with the army and prisoners and shit.
Right. They do it with the army and they do it with the prison.
Mm-hmm.
But more so the prison. A lot of prisoners are basically test tube dummies for the medical field. You understand?
Let me ask y'all both something because y'all got me by a couple of years, right? If you could go back, right? Let's say to the '90s, because you know what I'm saying. And you could switch something up, right? Or you let's say if you seen an investment or something when you was at your highest peak of having bread, what's the one thing that you regret that you didn't invest in?
I told him already. That was AT&T and FedEx.
I would say what was right in front of my eyes at the time, and it's still in front of my eyes. Those goddamn brownstones and buildings in Harlem that I was taking from dudes for free at gunpoint, and
They wasn't giving it to us, bro. I tried to get one. And they would not give it to you because they set it up with that. They set it up whereas that you can't get the loan to get it. You understand? You could get the loan to get it, but you couldn't get the money enough loan to fix it up. And it had to be fixed up at a certain time. Once you got it, they was making it hard for us.
Contracts was rigged.
Huh?
The contracts was rigged too, so you won't make that times limit. So yeah, that's why a lot of them should stay empty for a long time. They made it impossible for you to actually secure it unless you had.
Jay,
And they was only giving them for $1, but you couldn't get the loan and all this other bullshit they said like that.
yeah, because they said that you had to you could put up $1, but you had to show you had the money in the bank to be able to buy it. Because I did look into it back then, but I was like, I ain't got no damn bank account.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a mattress and a couple of apartments that I had duffel bags with money in. But JP, I saw Uncle Tom's Cabin. That was a wild one too. Yeah, JP hit it on the nose.
Yeah.
Uncle Tom's Cabin. But you know, that's it, man.
But you know what about Uncle Tom too? That Uncle Tom really was. You know how they say they call you Uncle Tom because they think it's synonymous with like the disrespect. Uncle Tom,
no.
the hero, and actually the hero.
Yeah, he was. He first of all, he was bright and educated, and he wasn't what they depicted as we do, like Uncle Ben on Uncle Ben, right, working as a slave.
And Jemima.
Yep. But listen here, man.
Yeah, that's it. We've been here long enough. Gene, go on, man.
I appreciate it. Dean, good meeting you, brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen here, man. I gotta come out to Cincinnati, my man BK Fame and my people's Shade. They out there in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? They got this clothing line. Come on, it's a new clothing line about the Beast. Somebody it's something called the Beast. Huh?
I don't know. We got some shit called Good out here.
Huh?
We got some shit called Good. You see this hat? Good. And then there's another one called Black Owned, and you know what I mean. You got a couple of clothing lines that come out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
And that's what we got to start doing, man. We got to start really investing in stuff like that and making this all right and good. You know, man. Listen to me. Some motherfucker nigga told me he paid $600 for a T-shirt. What? Because somebody named Balenciaga. You out your rabbit ass mind.
Think $2,500.
Huh?
This nigga's paying $2,500 for one of those gallery shirts now. It's just a regular T-shirt.
Yeah, and where's our mindset at, man? That you think you gotta have that, and that's the problem, and that's what we gotta do. Somehow we gotta reach our kids to change their mindset about this shit, bro. You know, let them have a pair of Levi's on with some Converse, but they got a bank card in their pocket and they can go get whatever they want to get.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? They go get whatever they want to get.
Boys, I'm gonna tell you something. Last thing I got to say, my sons are 17 years old. I ain't have to give them money in the last 2 years because they've been trading. You know, they've been trading that crypto. I taught them with stocks, but once they learned that crypto, they fell in love with making money. You know what I'm saying? So like teaching them about finances early help them too. You know, I'm hard about the education, but I'm also, you know what I mean, I recognize making money, you know what I mean, get you ahead in life. So
Right.
money hustling is the number one thing for my sons. And then education at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Mac, man,
And,
somebody
and
put a
they
comment
can
up
work,
there
they
for
can
me.
work, they can work together.
Mac, do you see
without a
that
problem.
comment
What?
on the screen?
Mac tell him, Mac tell him about that 513. I tell you this about the 513, right? This shit is like looking at Harlem right before they board everything up. So if you smart, if you got half a brain, you'll be able to come over here, secure some property, and be in the green in 6 months. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get this money and do the same thing in St. Louis. St. Louis, they finna bring Nassau to St. Louis. And
Oh,
if the black people don't see that that's an investment in the downtown area, they out they rabbit ass mind.
now I'm gonna be both places. I'm gonna be because we opening up a dispensary in New York. I'm going to be in New York, but my investments is going to be out here, Ohio and Kentucky.
Right.
The amount of land you get, we looked at USDA. The USDA loans for people that don't understand. This is the regular black man's way into getting a property. Why? Because these are forgivable loans. You know what I'm saying? It's, as opposed to giving a traditional bank loan. Like half of my family got USDA loans to buy their property. Out here, we looked at 178 acres for like $300,000. You know what I mean? So that's damn near 200 acres. You know what I'm saying? For 170, and the house is on the land. So you could keep the house, scrap the house, put trailers out there, whatever. But for the most part, the your bang for your buck when it comes down to land out here is way better. You know? Mac, this your barber. Barber, what up? Oh, Trey, what's up, Trey? That's my boy Trey from he's out here. This is that's my boy. They got a nice big ass barbershop, and the guard body own the spot. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So
give him a plug. Tell him the name of it so they could go to his barbershop.
hey, Trey, he don't got no name to the barbershop.
Yo, Trey, where your barbershop at, son? I like to plug black entrepreneurs, brother.
It's on Main Street. Something just popped on Main Street, in OTR. So it's on Main and Orchard. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my boy Trey. That's the only one I let touch my hair. That's why my hair look like this. I ain't see him in like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? I'm going out.
Help me put together the OGs from London. I got a couple out there too, because I got a couple of brothers that got deported. Like I got a good brother named English. You know what I mean? That's out there doing his thing. Got his own clothing line.
Jamaican English.
Yeah, you know him?
From the Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He out there in London.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
Let me step down.
The name of the barbershop is Sun City. Excuse me. Sun City is Trey Johnson's barbershop.
That's the name of your shit, Trey. I wanted to talk to you too because I'll come and see you. I'll come and see you. I gotta come see you anyway because these deals I just made. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm in partnership with Jonathan Tucker. Jonathan Tucker is the pilot from Snowfall. Have you ever seen Snowfall series?
Yeah.
The one they made.
Story.
Yeah, he also plays in like Westworld or whatever. So I created a company with him, and we were in a partnership with a company called the Boston Garden in Massachusetts. It's a dispensary, and this is what we're doing out there in New York. So big shouts to that brother. And big shouts to my boy Trey, man. I'm about to step down. You know what I mean? But I appreciate y'all, man. You know what I mean? Y'all my OGs, man.
Salute, brother. Salute.
Paying attention to you calming me down on this internet. You know what I'm saying? So and not too many people can do that. So I got crazy love for y'all brothers. You know what I'm saying? And thank you again, bro. Appreciate it.
Hold on, stay on for a minute, Mac. Let me let Gene go. Stay on for a minute. Yo, Gene.
All right.
Good night. Your old ass go to sleep, man. Talk to tomorrow, family.
Hey, man. Listen.
I'm gonna bring that wheelbarrow real soon.
It's good to be old, brother.
Yeah, you heard me, Gene?
Huh?
I said I'm gonna bring that wheelbarrow real soon on Dubs.
Man, listen here. I need it like a hog needs slop.
All right. Hey, yo, Mac, you know, that's the thing, man. Like I said, I try and push a positive joint, man. You know what I mean? All of us need to come together because we all we got, man. Because at the end of the day, the same kids that we don't try and save could be the one to take your child's life.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by us saving one that I save might be the one that will kill one of our children, man.
You know what I thought about when you said earlier about each one teach one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been explaining like on my channel, I'll try to explain to people that when I was younger and somebody told me that, I didn't understand how powerful that was.
Mm-hmm.
That each one teach one. And then with like the same one of my OGs that told me that each one teach one tells me about my channel. He's like, yeah, because I attribute a lot of shit that I do good to him. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, you the one I taught. Now look, you speaking to thousands of people. So that one is real powerful. You know what I'm saying? So that each one teach one is super powerful.
Exactly. We got to start with one, brother. When the feds came and got us, if you got 40 people on your indictment, all they care about is flipping one. Because they know everybody else gonna fall like a domino. That's thinking on them terms, But make sure y'all cop my book, A Row in Harlem. You want to know about the crack era. Subscribe to Unique Mecca Audio TV. That's where I want to put these lives at, so I don't fill up my page with this. I got to do a prison story for tomorrow. I ain't even doing for tomorrow yet. I've been on here all night. You know what I mean?
You've been turning up with the prisons. I be low key listening in. You know what I'm saying? Because I did state time, but hearing like what it reminds me of, like how people say that your kind stick with your kind and stuff like that, and it's real separate. But then you always had some people that was able to move around all circles and still get the same love. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I get out of your stories.
Yeah,
you know
listen, man. Listen, a lot of dudes talk trash about the DC car, the Dirty South car, the Chicago car. You know what I mean? Because the Chicago brothers on some real conscious Black Power movement. You know what I mean? And they talk trash about the Serenos, the Border Brothers.
Who's the worst car? Was the Baltimore car the worst car?
No. Baltimore car was all right. They ran with us in Philly and all that. But you got to remember, they talk bad about the DC car because they put their whole prison system in it, in the feds. So you can imagine if they took everybody from up north and put them in a federal jail, New York would be the biggest talk. You know what I mean?
What about the Detroit car?
Oh, Detroit's is definitely official. You know what I mean? They are because they gang orientated, so they know how to stick together. You know what I mean? That's the thing. When you go out west, like when we out west, it might be 5 dudes from New York out there, my brother. 2,000 people on the compound and only 5 men from New York. You know what I mean? So now we got to team up with people that on the East Coast. We say, okay, well, Jersey's over here, even though a lot of Jersey dudes mess with us because I'm from Jersey. And be like Philly, you know what I mean? So we have an East Coast call when we get out there because there only be 5 people from Philly. So if you take 5 from Jersey, 5 from Philly, you know what I mean? 5 from Connecticut, 5 from Boston. Now we got little 50 dudes that we can kind of defend ourselves because when they move, they moving in troves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we only out there.
I heard a lot about the Detroit motherfuckers. They said,
they're official. I talked to my man Turk. Big shout out to Turk, Black, Shorty Doe. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, man. You got men out there. You know what I mean? Good man. I'm getting ready to I'm gonna do a personal interview like this one-on-one with a couple of good brothers from Detroit. Probably I'll have it ready by next week. You know what I mean? But like I say, I've been over, man. I've been all over, and everybody respect me because men respect men. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about. Big shout out Jason Hill.
I don't know why you didn't start a record label by now, man, because you.
Yeah. No. I had one from before I got locked up. I got one now. I'm getting ready to put out a new Mecca audio chant. I got Dave East on it, Herb McGruff, Stan Spit, P.
Salute. Yeah. My niggas, especially P. Uwe.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Pop Sid, Gus, all that coming. I just came home, man. Right now I'm trying to reach the youth, and everything else is a side project.
Yeah. Ron G, remember the mixtapes? You know what I'm saying? That your spot was the only place I got him from.
Listen, Ron G used to come to my studio. I got pictures of me and Ron G in his mama house over there on the low side of Building 1 that he ain't even seen yet. You know what I mean? Ron G did the Mecca audio chant that I got Sadat X on it. Put it in your Google, Mecca audio chant. It's on iTunes and all that. Yeah, exactly. Ron G did the mix for that while I was in the joint. You understand what I'm saying?
I remember having those tapes with the handwritten, you know what I'm saying, on the tapes, what the tape was and all that. I remember dudes coming, the DJs coming over there and all that shit with boxes
Man.
and shit. I
Big
remember,
shout out to 050, the movement, China Brim. I'll be watching them. That's what I'm saying. All this is entertainment, man. And I mean, somebody have to talk to the people to let them know, just like drill music. And I'm going to defend drill music. But, you know, 050 official, you know what I mean? I mean, come on, you know, 10 toes down the whole family, man. You know what I mean? Everybody do their thing. We in this together. You know, even Hassan Campbell, he give me some advice. You know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, I don't get into all that. I just want everybody to come together, man. That's it.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It'll happen.
At the end of the day, it's about getting the bag, man. Don't let an outsider come in and try and separate nothing. You understand what I'm saying? Because we all we got at the end of the day. You know, when I was getting money back in the day, Mac Mean, a dude knew they could come to Mecca, and that's why everybody loved me and know me. They know they could come to the Mecca and say, Unique, I just lost 5 keys going down the highway, man. Let me get 2 keys so I can get back on. I don't even know them. I don't know if I'm a can of paint. You understand what I'm saying? But I let them know, if you take my shit and don't bring it back, you know I'm gonna have to come find you. So the first thing I need to know where your mama live. Yeah. You know what I mean? Let's get that straight. But
you got these bricks, but I need some insurance on this shit.
You know what I mean? And I don't want nothing extra. I just want you to get on, because when I give him them 2 bricks and he blow up to 20, 30, I could go to him and say, yo, let me get 5 joints real quick. You know, my shit all the way uptown. I got a nigga downstairs. You know what I mean? Got 150,000. Let me get 5 real quick. And
that's a rare breed now, though. That's a rare breed. That's a rare breed. You know what I'm saying? And you say you stayed the same. You know what I mean? Some people change. You know what I mean? Like that core. You know what I mean? Like that characteristic has changed over the years, and not everybody's like that. So that's a good motherfucking quality to die with. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, man, like I said, I saw you put up a comment. That's why I brought you in, because I want you to get some of this shine and some of this love. You know what I mean? You got to get some of this money. We all got to get this money. We in here together. You understand what I'm saying? We in here together. And like I said, anybody want me on their platform, as long as you on some positive time. You know what I mean?
What I would like to interview you about, though?
What?
Club 2000. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I want to talk about the business mind behind you, like, and then also, like I said, you know, like the Mecca Audio, like that's where you went to go get the tapes from. You know what I'm saying? So I snuck from the Bronx. You know what I mean? Down there, because it was all up in my high school. You know what I mean? Like, where we get the tapes, you know, you only could get them from certain people, and then not everybody let you record. You know what I'm saying? Make a copy. You know what I mean? It was like, nah, go buy your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I mean? But I would like to interview you about that. Like, where was your mind, the business aspects? You know what I'm saying? So
whenever you're ready, brother. Back then, I was getting so much money. I wanted to give back to the DJs, and I wanted the DJs to have some place to make some money. When rap evolved, when rap first began, Mac, it was the DJs. It was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. You know what I mean? It was Grand Wizard Theodore. You understand? All the DJs' names was up front. And then when the record labels came in, they kicked the DJ out, took the rappers, and started, you know, buying the samples or making the samples or whatever, and left the DJ's ass out. So what I did was I opened that up. I put my man Star Child in there. Rest in peace. Lovebug Starsky. Rest in peace. Bismarck. Rest in peace. I got pictures with Heavy D in front of Mecca Audio. I got pictures with Brand Nubian in front of Mecca Audio.
You probably got the biggest favor list in hip hop right now. They owe you favor. They owe you more favors than niggas like Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Because you put so many people like with Clue. Like Clue put a lot of dudes on, putting them on the mixtape. You put a lot of Clues on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I remember Triple C mixtapes, Ron G, Kid Capri,
SNS, Doo-Wop, you know what I mean? Come on. Double J, you know what I mean? Come on, man. We had them all in there. You know,
Double R.
Yeah, Double R. Come on, man. You already know. But you know, yo, I'm gonna tell you one about Doo-Wop, right? Doo-Wop, he put one on one of his mixtapes while I was locked up to show you how my legacy deep. I'm locked up 20 years now. Somebody let me hear a mixtape that Clue did where he started at the beginning, where he said, man, I went up to Washington Heights, and the Doo-Wop hear this, he'll be able to find the tape. He said, I went up to Washington Heights to go cop. Nobody had no coke. They all waiting on the man. Talk about they waiting on the man to bring the coke, man to bring the coke. And then we said he waiting on the Spanish dude because he's Spanish. You know what I mean? He in Washington Heights. He said, and then here I come with the duffel bag. You understand what I'm saying? Just to let it be known, man. It is what it is. And nobody, go ahead.
I wouldn't put you on some game. There's a dude that got a channel that got all of those old mixtapes.
Yeah, definitely shoot it to me.
His name is Polo Rican. That's all. Remember that name.
Yeah.
Everything you could think about. I'm talking about from the 80s to early 90s.
Listen, I got over 1,000 mixtapes from Mecca Audio and Club 2000 and from back then. And I got live video footage from back then. You understand what I'm saying? Live video footage from back then.
You talking about a movie, Triple C, hell yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But like I said, I help so many people, man. Like you said, I got a lot of favorite lists, but you know, it is what it is, man. But we're going to tap out because it's getting late. I'm an old man. I got to go to sleep. Yo, it was a pleasure.
I'll hit your IG and send my shit to you so we can get something done. But it'll probably be a 15 quick spitfire business tutorial on your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever you need me for, I'm here, big brother. You know what I mean? And big shout out to 050, the movement. Thanks for tapping in. I like when other brothers tap in. Big shout out to Mac Mean for tapping in. I like when brothers tap in, man. You know what I mean? That's trying to do what I'm doing because
like I said, you changed a lot of, you know what I mean? Like a lot just by you stepping into this game with us, you know what I'm saying? And recognizing certain people, you kind of made us a little bit more conscious of how we moving forward. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because listen, man, we don't want people looking at us like, you know, we sitting here eating each other back out when the Chinese ain't doing it on their YouTube. The white people ain't doing it on their YouTube. You understand what I'm saying? If I need some content, like I needed somebody to help me out, Gene, get ready to tap out. You came in and gave me some content. That's what we're here for. So if you're doing something, call me. I ain't got a problem tapping in real quick. You understand? As long as it's positive, I'm in. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. Now, anything I do will always be positive when it comes down. Y'all my OGs, you know what I'm saying? So I put major respect, you know what I'm saying, when I speak about a Unique. You know what I mean? Or Gene Deal, or you know what I'm saying? Some of my brothers. I'll fight with my contemporaries, but when it comes down to my OGs, I respect all of y'all. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother. But we're about to tap out. Yo, Mac, it's a pleasure, big bro. Shoot me your number 2 in my DM, all right?
Likewise.
All right. All right, so you know what it is. Unique Mecca Audio, man. I'm about to tap out. I've been here long enough. I'm an old-ass man. You know what I mean? Remember, cop your book of Ruin Harlem and go subscribe to Unique Mecca Audio TV. That's where I want to put the lives at instead of doing them over here. I want to keep this with just, you know, my prison stories and my street stories. But big shout out to Gene Deal for coming through, for Fatman Scoop for coming through. You know what I mean? 050, Mac Mean. You know what I mean? And hopefully we get some more podcasters to come through with positive vibes, man, so that we could try and reach the people to let them know that we here for each other, man. That's all. You know what I mean? So I'm about to tap out. You know what I mean? Tap in the Unique Mecca Audio TV. I'm out.